Welcome back to 10 Cents Podcast. I'm your host, Robert Brown, and I'm sitting in the King Motorsports Studios across from Adam Nilsson, my co-host, and we also have the famous photographer, Dusty Nixon,
That's
on
true.
Zoom.
This is hashtag. This
That's
is
the way
fake, bro.
that's the way this is going to go, huh?
Yeah, right. We're going right off the bat that way.
Published photographer,
Published.
paid professional photographer.
Yep.
He's big time in.
Welcome to the Professional Photographer Club.
Yeah, Robbie's a published photographer.
Yep, in print magazines.
That's
What's
pretty.
a print magazine?
Yeah,
Can you explain this concept to me?
Back in the day, they used to send them to
3
your
years ago.
Yeah, they used to send them to your house, and they were printed on paper.
Oh, did
seems
Amazon print them?
wasteful.
Yes.
Okay.
Probably. That seems very wasteful.
Yeah, now they look back at it, it's like, yeah, that's a lot of paper and ink.
Oh, so much paper. There's a lot of trees.
Yeah, don't turn around and look at all those books. That's fine.
Dusty spent so every time we'd be walking along, you'd see him on the other side of the catch fence from where, because there's a double set of catch fences.
Yes.
Right. There's the catch fence, and then there's like a service road, and then like
So it's like VIPs and then like normies.
right. And we're on the normie side of the fence. Dusty over here, famous photographer,
Yep.
on the VIP side of the fence.
Just like Larry Chen standing
Just
in the middle
right
of the field.
probably
Yep.
literally next to Larry Chen.
That sounds like something.
So Larry stands in the middle of the track and nobody gets onto him because he's Larry. So
He's on the other side of the catch fence.
Yeah. So there's a Larry Chen side, then there's the fence, then there's the regular photographers, then there's the normies.
Right. I think Rob Wilkinson might be able to get over there with Larry Chen.
Yeah.
I did see Rob straight up do that whenever they were forming the grid for the standing start on Sunday morning.
Yeah, I've seen that picture.
Yeah. The guy said, "No, you can't go out there," and he said, yes, I can," and he walked right out there.
Damn.
I looked at one of the other guys that was standing there, and he was like, "We can't do that, can we?" I was like, "No, we sure can't."
Don't do that.
Negative to Ghost Rider.
They will rough you up before you even get to where you want to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminded me of whenever I shot FD. Somebody told me, like, right whenever we were doing the media meeting, he said, "Okay, you might see Larry going some places that we told you not to go. That doesn't mean you can go there."
That's fair.
That sounds right.
That's what I was, yeah, that's
I've heard those same words uttered in media meetings at Midwest Fest as well.
yeah, when I had my camera at that one
Yeah.
event, they said the exact same thing verbatim.
Yeah.
There's the Larry Chen area, and then there's everyone else.
Larry and Rob.
And Rob.
Larry can be the cone for this outer clipping point. You can't. You have to stand over there behind that barricade.
Larry's got the correct insurance.
Apparently.
I don't know. So.
They also know he's not an idiot, and
Yeah, he's
in fairness, I might be an idiot. I don't know. So
I would never assume you aren't until you prove it differently, and I will not allow you to
Exactly.
prove differently at my event.
yes,
That's really what that boils down to.
yeah. You don't want that type of coverage.
No. So, let's see. Where do we? Oh, so we got to start before the race, before Super Lap.
Yeah. So what are we talking about? What happened here?
Okay, so
we should set that up.
sorry. I went to Super Lap Battle this weekend. Dusty went to Super Lap Battle this weekend. Robbie stayed home.
I couldn't be bothered.
Well, I know because it's not a WRL event, which means that you're not going to take the time off.
Facts.
So I get it.
He looked at the schedule and he saw that the sessions were 20 minutes, and he was like,
Was this practice?
The entry fee is $2,000 and the sessions are 20 minutes. This doesn't make any sense
No,
at all.
This is all backwards.
Yeah.
I measure my sessions in hours.
It's rough. So, but as we discussed on the podcast last week,
Because we had a podcast.
Because
we
last
love the fans.
hashtag FTF stands, it's actually for the fans.
Exactly. We do
For the fans.
Yeah, podcast
Hashtag
for the
FTF.
"Sorry, everyone, about the 3-week hiatus that's about to happen."
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. The Blazer.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
So we got to talk about it.
I don't have a picture of the
It went
Blazer.
annoyingly, well, not annoyingly for Robbie,
It is super annoying.
smoothly. So Thursday morning, I got back to the shop from my night cut.
Yes.
Slept in my work truck for a while. And then the mechanics had to work, and I grabbed Excuse me, sorry. I grabbed a battery jumper pack thing and just fired it right up. No problem at all.
That's it. Just like you pop the hood, you put them on, and just went back and turned the key and cycled, and just fired right up.
I mean, I had to wait for a few minutes, let the battery kind of take some charge before it would just start. But yeah. And then I drove it over to the mechanic bay, and I grabbed the air pressure thing, and I put air in the tires and drove it home.
I am annoyed at how well that went.
So I let it run for like 45 minutes before I drove it home because I thought I was ready to go home, and then like person after person after person needed something from me. And so the thing sat in the parking lot for like 45 minutes to an hour.
Okay.
And I didn't know how much fuel was in it because I don't trust the fuel gauge at all.
Yeah. I think I remember that.
This is the vehicle that doesn't have a gas cap, right?
Right. There's no gas cap.
Why not?
We went through this, Robbie, like just 2 or 3 weeks ago.
I forget things.
It might have been 4 or 5 weeks ago, but it was definitely 2 or 3 shows ago. So it's probably like 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Well, because remember when we were talking about insignificant problems for like ruined cars or whatever?
Yeah.
Like the 944 thing, and then there's the gas tank pressure relief valve on the Blazer gas tank is like breaks, and then apparently the first symptom of that is the gas tank gauge not reading correctly.
Okay,
which mine does not read correctly, but since I don't have a gas cap, it hasn't screwed up any fuel pumps yet.
Okay, I remember this now.
Yeah. So anyway, I decided not to put fuel in it because I'm an idiot.
So you just left.
Just drove it home.
Okay,
it was fine. I got home. I backed it into. So I parked it in my neighbor's driveway because they're not home. They're in Arizona for the summer. They're snowbirds.
Smart.
I backed it in there so that Friday morning, fully expecting that battery to be dead as a doornail again, I could just nose the van right up to it, put the jump cables on it, fire it off, and continue on my merry way. I hopped in it Friday morning and hit the key, and it started right up.
Man, that's annoying.
So I just want to say that kind of forethought is a sign of true veteran of this kind of lifestyle.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. So the only problems I had with it the whole way there, the whole time, the heater doesn't work very well.
Ooh.
And so I was real cold on Friday morning. I had to wear a Carhartt in the vehicle, which I don't ever do.
Nope.
Robbie is well aware. He's giving me tons of shit for it. Yep. So I wore a jacket. I even brought it with me to Texas, which is why I didn't need it all weekend. It was beautiful the whole time we were there.
That's smart planning.
Dusty here was cold, but I felt great. Rusty, Dusty, it's fine, whatever. I felt great. I thought it was beautiful. Like we woke up and walked outside. And it was like 52 degrees. It was just gorgeous in the mornings.
It was freaking cold.
I would run around with my shirt off at 55 degrees right now.
Oh, this is amazing.
It was like that temperature on Sunday. And I did everything I possibly could to be outside. So there's this big evergreen tree that's like right next to the deck, and we've always planned on taking it out. So I ringed it before winter, so it would kind of like stop feeding itself, and it would gradually like dry out. Yeah, that takes forever. So
apparently.
So I finally decided like we'll just cut it down. So while Jess is at work, I'm outside just cutting this tree down. She loves it when I use chainsaws and go on the roof and stuff when she's gone.
Oh, I bet she does.
She's a big fan of that.
I'm sure she is, as an ER nurse who sees the result of those things.
Huge fan of when I do these types of things when she's gone.
What you have to tell her is those people are idiots. Yeah. I am not.
I am a professional.
Yeah. I watched a YouTube video or two.
I have yet to cut off an appendage with a chainsaw.
I mean, you tried real hard to cut an appendage off.
It wasn't with a chainsaw.
I mean, that's fair. You can't argue this logic.
Yeah, see, and it grew back.
Yeah.
I mean, I ran a marathon after the fact.
Yeah, what's up?
I'm indestructible.
Take that, Mother Nature.
Yep. So,
that's a terrible statement. You should not say that. I'm indestructible, he says, as the house falls down above him.
But anyways, yeah, so I cut down this tree. It just gave me an excuse to be outside.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there's really nothing else to it. I just cut down the tree.
Right.
But it was nice out, so.
No, it was...
He was shirtless and glistening in the sun.
Yeah, all my neighbors were outside watching me. It was great.
That seems reasonable.
Yeah, of course.
I even got sunburned a little bit this weekend. That's how nice it was.
Wow.
Yeah, I soaked it in.
I would too.
Oh, it was so good.
That would have been the best part.
But anyway, so the heater didn't work very well. And then the previous owner installed the radio, the aftermarket radio that's in it.
Okay.
And he did the whole twist and electrical tape method.
Doesn't work very well.
Which I know he did, and I haven't fixed it because whatever. It, for the most part, has worked flawlessly. But every time I hit any amount of bump, which in frozen Iowa, even on our semi-well-maintained interstates, like certainly much better than Chicago's sorry excuse for an interstate system, is still pretty often. The radio would blip on and off, and then I had to hit the power button and switch back to the USB input, and that got really old really fast because I would get like 3 words out of the podcast I was listening to and it would shut the fuck back off again. So what I ended up doing was taking my phone and just putting the speaker on and then taking it and setting it speaker, because my speakers are super quiet because my phone is a piece of shit.
Okay.
So I would take it and put it speakers up right in my ear and just set it in the hood of my Carhartt and drove to Omaha that way.
You don't have headphones?
No, because the only headphones I own are plug-in.
Oh.
And my charge port's broken.
I was wondering why you were using an inductive charger the whole weekend. I should have known.
So I have one USB, one not Apple cable.
Okay.
It's some cheapo aftermarket cable that if I plug it in just so and don't fucking touch it, it'll work.
Okay. But that isn't going to work in a car.
That's how I do it in my work truck. It's fine in my work truck.
Oh, weird.
But in my Blazer, I mean, honestly, it was fine in my Blazer until I hit a bump and the radio shut off, which was every 2 seconds. So finally, I just gave up.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
And then on the way home, I figured out that because the deck that is in there, it's not the right deck for the mounting kit, and so it doesn't latch into place.
Oh. Yep.
And so, fuck you, Dusty. So
no, it's bringing back memories of the dash of my old Sonoma.
Yeah.
I had the right deck for the right install kit, and it still bounced around and turned off and on.
And so I figured out if I pulled it out like 2 inches.
Just let it like cantilever.
No, it was enough that it wasn't like cantilever down, but I pulled it out just a little bit, and then it wouldn't shut off anymore. I figured that out on the way home.
That's nice.
Yeah, it was great.
That'll also make it easy when you finally pull it out all the way and then fix the wires.
So the other thing is that it's made my driving better because I can't touch my phone.
Oh yeah.
So I don't text.
That's safe.
Safety first, Robbie.
Yes, I applaud you.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that was the only when we got back to it on Monday afternoon, I figured for sure it would be dead. I even, again, like Dusty pointed out earlier, I thought this ahead of time, and I made sure to pull through and have the nose of the vehicle towards the aisle so that no one would park in front of me, and then we couldn't get to my battery.
That's just good planning.
Started right up.
I kind of had that moment when we were coming back from NOLA, and I turned to Josh because we're like a few hours out of it, and I go, I really hope the Focus starts.
I mean,
I never let it sit outside for 4 or 5 days at a time and just forget about it.
Yeah.
Like, it should be fine. It was.
You'll figure it out.
Oh, reliable.
That battery, I put a charger on it, it fired right up.
Yeah.
And it's been rock solid too.
It has been rock solid. I like it.
The security light still flashed like, I don't know, that car sat in my driveway for like a year.
The Focus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the security light still flashed.
Well,
so the battery wasn't that dead.
Yeah, no, the battery's good.
It's fine.
It gets me to work every day.
Yeah,
That's all that matters.
You're welcome.
Thanks, man.
What a piece of shit.
It's my favorite car.
It's great, isn't it?
Because every time I drive it, it saves me money.
Yeah, there's that. And like, have you noticed that you're way less concerned about people?
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, pull out in front of me.
Do it.
Do it.
Go ahead, hit me.
Joke's on you.
I called my insurance person. And I was like, yeah, so I bought this car for a song and a dance. So just give me whatever is legal, required by law. And they did the whole thing. And it's like, yeah, that's almost what I paid for the whole car. Yeah, well, that's the best we can do for you.
For like 6 months or something?
Yeah, no, I think it was like the whole year.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like nothing, but still.
Yeah. It's like $12 a month.
Yeah. Everyone needs a throwaway car.
What if that's all you own, Robbie?
That car?
No, throwaway cars.
Oh, everybody needs them.
Well, you're not wrong.
Yeah, I'm not stressed about it because if something goes wrong, it's fine.
I am stressed about it because
it's different.
That's all I have.
It's different.
Yeah, the fact that he has the nice single-digit-year-old truck sitting next to it kind of gives a little bit of a safety net.
Yeah. The 2018 Silverado that's just sitting there.
Yeah, just in case.
That's nice to know that that's still there. And then I could drive the Z. It's just not registered.
That would be hilarious.
Oh, I've done it.
Did it work?
I did it last year.
Oh, Jesus.
It happens.
So, but yeah.
No issues with the Blazer, though.
No. I know that's not the content you were looking for, but it's the content you get.
But it sounds like there was other content.
I mean, we had plenty of fun.
Yeah, so I'll take it. I'll take it.
So
I'm glad you had no mechanical failures or any other issues.
And we hit a little snow in Kansas, but otherwise the trip down there was relatively exciting, except Oklahoma and Texas need to figure out road construction because you people suck at it.
Dude, 35, like the commitment to being crappy for at least 2/3 of the drive to Austin is mind-boggling.
We added at least 2 hours to our trip from Oklahoma City to Austin in delays.
Wow.
So here in Iowa and most every other state I've traveled in recent memory, when they're doing road construction on the interstate and they have it narrowed to one lane in the direction you're traveling, they give you a few miles advance notice as to what lane will be closed.
Yes.
And everyone just kind of...
Even Illinois does that.
Right. Everyone just kind of like, oh, okay. And like they might slow us down from like 70 to
55
to 55 or 65 or whatever that number is. But we all just adjust our cruise, slide left or right, and continue on our merry way. That's not what they do in Oklahoma and Texas, though. They don't tell you what lane you need to be in until you're there.
Oh, boy.
They actually encourage you to use both lanes.
So theoretically, they want you to zipper.
But it doesn't
work in reality. It doesn't work in reality because as soon as you throw one.
So next thing you know, you're doing 5 miles an hour for like
forever.
Multiple mile-long stretches coming into construction zones.
Yes, and then you have the trucker that parks in the middle to keep people from doing the zipper thing because it's already jacked up.
Yeah.
They're not doing it anyways.
That guy's a hero because he stops all of the people from just driving all the way up to the end.
Yep.
And then sitting there stopped.
But if they would just tell you, hey, left lane, get out of it, 3 miles ahead. Cool, thanks. And just move over.
It'd be a lot smoother.
So in Texas, if they did that, they would just have people doing 90 for those 3 miles trying to beat the person next to them into that lane.
They're already doing 90. That's how fast you go in Texas.
I think in Oklahoma they have a line that says, like, if you're not merged by here, they can write you a ticket. And it's like well in advance of where the actual merge is. And yeah, I want that to be
not the experience we had. It was just like Texas where you don't know what lane you need to be in until you're within 100 yards of the merge.
Yeah, maybe I'm imagining it from, or I'm remembering it from some other backward state.
It was out of control.
It was probably Louisiana on your way to NOLA.
We added so many hours to our trip, and almost all of it was construction backup cost that could have been avoided had they just used some intelligent thought.
I must say, the drive to NOLA and back was so uneventful. I didn't even mention it on the podcast.
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed the drive in New Orleans, or like as I got closer to the track, because you could see the ocean or whatever, and you can see the Everglades and all that shit.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I enjoyed that.
That would be awesome.
It was kind of sad to see all the houses just like abandoned.
Wiped. Yeah.
Because it's. I mean, that's just
still the way it is.
Yeah.
Like 10 or 15
It's just a
years
lake
later.
that you see on the way in.
Is it a lake?
Yeah,
Oh.
it's. I think it's Pontchartrain, but yeah.
Oh,
if
well,
you came in on 10,
I can't remember, but it was. I like that. I like that driving over the water thing.
Yeah.
it's a massive lake. So yeah,
Okay, it's not the ocean, but it's kind of cool to see like the power lines just go off into infinity. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I like it. Anyways, back to your trip.
On the way down there, we had to stop at Buc-ee's.
I still have never been to Buc-ee's.
Brah.
I know it was.
The one we were at, we pulled up to gas pump number 225.
That's absurd.
I think there's like 250 gas pumps at the place we were at, and I'm not joking.
That's the thing, though. That's like what they do, right?
And I'm not even sure that includes the diesel only pumps,
No, those are different numbers.
because those are in the back where the truckers are.
Wow.
so they don't. I don't think they technically allow semis in.
No, maybe they were just parked nearby. I don't know. It looked like there were a few. I don't know. I wasn't paying that close attention. But yeah, there were like 230 to 250 gas pumps there. Dude, it's the size of a grocery store here.
It's like a Walmart. I'm assuming.
It's not quite a super Walmart, but like remember when Walmarts were just Walmarts?
Yes, I remember those.
And they didn't have grocery stores in them? It was that size.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that.
And then like so fuck it, we'll talk about it.
Love it.
I have a thing about going number 2 in a public bathroom.
It's your favorite thing in the world.
I won't do it unless I can be the only person in the room.
Oh,
Like if it's a multi-stall, multi-person bathroom, I won't go number 2.
what if you have to?
No.
You'll just mind over matter. This isn't happening.
Yeah, I do it all the time, man. My dream, if I was an app developer, I would make an app where you can rate and like categorize public restrooms and restrooms at businesses, so that I could go on there and go, nah, I can't stop at this gas station. Got to go to the next one because that one's a single use only bathroom and this one isn't.
I remember in college there was on Court Avenue for all the bars in Ames.
Yep.
Like you don't go to the bathroom in any of those bars.
No, that's disgusting.
No. Especially number 2. It's not an option.
No.
They don't even have fucking seats.
They should.
Like it's not an option.
Yeah.
But there was one apartment building that had a cafe at the bottom of it.
Yeah.
And then there was a bathroom. I can't think what it's called. But they had a single stall bathroom for men and women. So if you were out at the bars, most people didn't know about it. And I was
That
like,
is life.
I have to go to the restroom. I'll be in this building. And they're like, why you? Because this is the only bathroom I'm going to use this whole night. Go away.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I get it.
I get that.
So Buc-ee's, you would think that would just blow my mind up, that there's no way I could possibly do it. But number one, they have like almost full length doors, which I don't understand.
Like a changing room? Like a
I mean, it's the size of a normal toilet stall. Excuse me, stall. But the door is nearly full height.
Okay, so no one's peeking over looking at you?
Right. And it's a real door, like with a handle and a latch.
Okay.
It's not a door that has a 4-inch gap that I can peer through.
Or the little sliding thing that
And the little sliding lock that doesn't actually work.
Yep.
And there's so many people that it comes back around again to not being that weird situation where I'm going number 2 and that other person knows I'm going number 2 and I can't fucking handle it. And so I can go number 2 at a Buc-ee's. It's great.
That's nice.
There's also the fact that there's like 8 inches of concrete between you and each.
Yeah, because they're not.
They're all brick.
Metal stalls. They're poured concrete and brick stalls.
That's better.
And so, like, you could almost kill somebody in there, and the person next to you wouldn't know.
That's a proper good bathroom.
Yeah, it's what's up.
Single ply toilet paper.
I mean, it is a public restroom.
Fair enough.
I can only ask for so much, Robbie.
That's true. I mean, if it was good toilet paper, that'd be too much.
And also, because it's Buc-ee's, there's probably 45 stalls in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least that.
And there's like 80 urinals.
Yeah, I believe that.
I mean, that bathroom is bigger than most like downtown small businesses' buildings. It's ridiculous.
I need to go to a Buc-ee's.
It's amazing.
One day. I'll get there.
Yeah.
Maybe.
You can buy a beaver while you're there.
Like animal? Like a stuffed beaver?
Like a stuffed animal. Or
Do they sell beaver meat?
Doubt it.
I would totally try it, though.
I mean, I would try that. That sounds great.
They have beaver nuggets.
Like, yeah, but that's like chicken, though. That's
actually, I think it's like fucking...
No, it's a candy kind of thing. It's like
it's like a fluffed
cracker kind of thing, yeah.
If someone listening to this podcast has access to beaver meat, send it to the show. We'll eat it. We'll eat it on the show.
I should have got... You would love their beaver nuggets.
The candies?
They have... So, like when you go into like a Fleet Farm?
Yeah.
And they have the bulk candy stuff?
Yeah.
They have that in this Buc-ee's like it's normal gas station stuff.
So I can just like walk in with like a trash bag and I just like fill it and I walk up.
There's like 80 different kinds of licorice in there.
Yeah, it's like a proper candy store.
Yeah, it's a real candy store.
Man,
the place is amazing. They have like they have like how there's a meat market, right?
Yeah.
They have that just for nuts.
Huh.
Like with a display counter and everything.
Are they hot nuts?
They're probably.
All right.
I saw so many taki or whatever it is.
Takis are amazing, Adam.
Varieties there, and I thought about you.
I appreciate that.
Not at Buc-ee's. I was at a different place that we'll get to here in a minute. But, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that place.
So, yeah, that was Buc-ee's. It was ridiculous.
Nice.
So, but otherwise, our trip down there was relatively uneventful. We got there at a reasonable time, and it was beautiful while we were there.
Nice.
So, then...
Well, before you get too far into it, we should probably thank a sponsor. So, your trip down is presented by Factory Fabrication.
God, I wish.
FactoryFabrication.com. If you need to get caged or railed, Booney's your guy. FactoryFabrication.com. If you need custom furniture.
I'm not sure that's like the best advertisement.
How would you do it?
Caged or railed?
He has caged my race car.
Okay.
And
I get what you're getting at.
He makes rails for high-end houses.
I get what you're getting at. I'm with you.
Handrails,
but like
safety rails, skate rails.
It's true. He does make scrails.
Makes scrails. He can make a regular round tube rail.
Yeah.
Do all sorts of switch ups and grinds. He'd make it for you.
Dalton and I talked about the Jimmy was Jimmy thing repeatedly this weekend.
I'm proud of you guys. Jimmy was Jimmy.
Because Jimmy Hotown was there.
Oh, yeah, he was.
Jimmy was Jimmy.
Yep.
They had to swap an engine and everything.
Yep. Standard practice.
Standard Jimmy
things. It was like he hadn't been away at all.
Standard Jimmy things.
Yep. Yeah, so if you need any like custom furniture fabrication work, you got Booney. Go to hit him up. Got Max. Max will weld it up. It'll be great. Also, because we have a race team, we have a store. So factorfabracing.bigcartel.com. We got the logo on the hoodies, the t-shirts, the Dickies jacket, and the windbreaker. This is basically at cost. Booney's having these printed up by a friend of his. So it's basically we're going to get a bunch of orders in, and once the orders are in, we'll fill them and then ship them out. So
I gotta get the
factorfabracing.bigcartel.com. Then yeah, they're just high end quality stuff. Not making any money on them. It's kind of like our drop shipping. There's no profit. It's just
that's right. We have a store too, don't we, Robbie?
We do have a store, but that's not important.
We're so bad at self promotion.
It's fine.
Remember when was the last time we mentioned our social media channels?
At the end of the show, there's a picture.
For the 4 people that watch our YouTube?
I think it even says follow us on YouTube.
When was the last 3-host show? That might have been the last full promotion of the social.
No, I'm pretty sure that even when Michael was on the show, we
stopped
tailed
long
off
before
on that.
Yeah, because he stopped caring about that too long before he stopped doing the show.
Yeah. So, I got to get me a T-shirt.
Yes, definitely get yourself a T-shirt.
That Dickies jacket looks pretty sweet.
It is awesome. It was super.
I need to find a store that has those so I can see what size I need. But yeah,
one size smaller than you think you need, maybe even 2.
Smaller?
Dickies runs huge, dude. The one I was wearing is a large, and I was drowning in it.
Really?
Yes.
Huh. I would never have called that.
Yep. No. One
See,
size.
with a jacket, you always go up a size.
At least go one size smaller than what you think you need.
Really?
Yes. Huh. I would for sure need a medium because I'm drowning in a large.
Interesting.
Yep.
Huh. Okay.
But yeah, if you want to look as fly as Max does in that picture, you can get yourself a race team jacket at factorfabracing.bigcartel.com.
Big Cartel.
Big Cartel.
That's so funny. So, let's see. Saturday morning. Oh, wait, let's talk about the hotel because the hotel was hilarious.
You don't have any pictures of it, do you?
No, I didn't take any pictures.
Of course not.
I don't take pictures of things. You know this, Robbie.
I know.
So we stayed at a Hilton True.
I don't know what Hilton True is. What's different about it?
I don't know.
It's kind of Hilton's, like, it sounds worse than it is to call it Hilton's Motel 6, but it's kind of Hilton's Motel 6.
It's supposed to be like no frills.
Yeah, just basic.
They'll leave the light
small
on for you.
room.
Just basic room, but it's like not.
It's not shitty.
It's not shitty, and so like the lobby area had a big snack counter, and they sell beer and a cooler, and there was a pool table in there.
Okay.
And there was some dudes playing pool and like wearing one glove on their hand and taking it way too seriously for a hotel lobby, and they were there both nights.
Why?
And they had their own balls.
Yeah, they brought their own balls
and cues, obviously.
Yeah, and I'm not convinced that they didn't just show up at the hotel and play on the pool table.
Why would of all the places, there's got to be like a pool hall that you would go.
I don't know, man. We were really weirded out by it too. It was very strange.
That's way too serious to be taken.
They looked like the type of people that would show up at a hotel to play pool too. They're exactly what you're picturing.
Okay. Yeah, they're probably looking to hustle some guys out of some money at
That's
the
what
hotel.
I tried to get Dalton to do, but he wasn't drunk enough.
I highly doubt that.
We had just gotten there.
I highly doubt that.
Well, he only had so much time to drink.
That's fair.
So I tried to, dude, go over there and
strike up a game.
Yeah, strike up a game. Just working a coin toss or something. That's his thing. He
flip
a
for
coin.
it.
Yeah.
Hey guys, you playing billiards?
He's like, I'm not even good sober, or I'm not good at this sober or drunk.
No.
If they're even kind of good, I'm like, they look terrible.
Yeah, with their personal cues and balls. And
I don't
and
think
gloves.
they were actually that good though. That's the thing. I was kind of, sort of, in my peripheral paying attention.
Watching him.
I don't think he was that good.
There was one time I was on a business trip and my coworker does billiard competitions as like a thing, and he's quite good. I think he makes and sells cues as well.
Okay,
it's kind of like, so. I mean, he knows his shit.
He's serious.
Yeah. So when we got done for the day, he's like, "Let's just go find a pool hall." I'm like, "Great."
That sounds awesome.
I'm gonna look like an idiot. And so yeah, we went and found a pool hall, and yeah, he's
cleaned house.
He could have played with anyone that's there. They're really good. And he's just like,
yeah.
He's like, well, let's play. I'm like, thank you for including me, but we don't have to do this.
Can I just watch
I'm totally content with watching. But he let me play, and I didn't make a complete ass out of myself, so that was nice.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's very weird though.
Look away whenever he would take a shot, so you would get to play.
Yep, exactly.
It was very strange. I don't know what they were trying to prove.
They were just looking super cool. That's what they were doing.
So when we first got there, we're sitting outside waiting for Dalton to check in, and there was what looked like a bag of trash in the middle of the road that we were pointed at. And Josh and Ryan were kind of discussing it while I wasn't really paying attention.
Like a hefty bag full of trash.
Right, like a white hefty bag full of trash. Okay. And Josh and Ryan were kind of debating whether it was a bag or a human. And it turns out that it was option B.
No.
Yeah. There was a human in the middle of the road. Just
sitting there?
Yeah. And so we thought he was some drugged out, coked out, cracked out homeless person.
Okay.
In the middle of the road.
Not illogical.
Right.
I mean, you're not in Baltimore, but...
Well, but there's quite a few of them. And we were... There was a 7-Eleven right across the highway from us that had some less than desirable folks around it all the time.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that bundle of hotels that's by the airport is an interesting scene, especially in the mornings.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I can only
There was
imagine.
a Waffle House there. They wouldn't let me go, though.
Why not?
Well, okay, I'm sure they would have let me go. They wouldn't go with me.
What's wrong with them?
Because they don't like fun.
Or good food.
Right. We went to Popeyes.
What?
Got to sample the local fare.
We can do that here.
Yeah.
A Waffle House is sampling the local fare. We don't have those.
I had Popeyes on the way back from NOLA as a last resort because everything else was closed on Sunday night
There's
at 2
a
in the morning.
Popeyes down the street from here. I worked across the street from it today. We don't have a Waffle House. Closest Waffle House is 6 hours away. There's no excuse for this.
No, there isn't. This is...
Yeah.
You should be mad.
I was.
I'm mad for you.
Thank you.
This is like when Booney went and got Waffle House in the middle of the night and didn't wake me up.
One of the most
Still
disrespectful things a human could do.
There are two things I'll never forget that Booney's done to me. One was making me change the rotors on his fucking van at NOLA. And two, getting Waffle House without me. And I am justified in both of my angers.
Neither one of those things are good things either.
No.
That's forgettable.
Yeah.
Spite me, though.
Number 3, I also remember the NPO one.
But it's a distant third.
I'll never forget the first two.
So, anyway, so after Dalton came back out, because the dude, like, flopped over and rolled to the gutter of the road.
So, like a road people are driving on, going around him.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which we just thought he was a bum, right?
Yeah.
And, like, that was where he passed out.
Okay.
And so people were just driving around him to ignore him. And then, like, all of a sudden he kind of, like, flopped and rolled over to the gutter. And then...
Like athletically or...
No.
Okay.
No, not at all. And at this point, we're trying to decide if he was drugged out of his mind or hit by a car. And then Dalton came and got back in the car. And we went to go park. And... when we went to go and park, we realized that there were 2 cars right around the corner, and one of them had clearly been in an accident, and there was a bunch of glass and plastic in the middle of the street, and then the cops showed up with a spotlight, and then the guy, he was laying on the ground next to a bus stop, and a bus stopped, and he got up and got in it and left.
What?
I don't know, man.
You didn't stick around to see what the cops were doing?
Well, I don't know that he wanted the cops to find him.
No, clearly, but I would have been so invested on like finding out what happened.
He was clearly injured because he laid in the middle of the road for an extended period. I mean, this was a span of 5 to 10 minutes at least.
So he was like not 10 feet from you guys. He was a little ways down.
We were like...
You're not just sitting here watching this guy die in the middle of the street.
No, we were a couple hundred feet away from him for sure. And by the time we realized, because when we saw him flop over there to the side of the road, we thought, okay, this guy's just drugged out of his mind.
Yeah, for sure.
And like he thinks he's
in Narnia.
He's running through the grasses of the Shire right now.
Yeah.
Like he has no idea where he's at.
Yeah, he's on bath salts, man.
Yeah,
like you don't want to get close to him. He's going to eat you.
Yeah, exactly. And so
or Flocka. Flocka. He's on Flocka.
Yeah, probably. And so then by the time that we had moved and realized those cars were there, he had already got on the bus and left. Okay. Like, so when we pulled forward and when the cops showed up, he was already gone.
Right.
He had gotten on the bus and disappeared.
Huh.
Or we're not sure if he got on the bus or if he got up and then walked away and the bus blocked his
blocked your view of... Yeah.
But it's better if he got on the bus.
Let's assume he got on the bus.
It's way better that way.
So it's a classic superhero exit where the bus drives by and he's gone.
Yeah, that's exactly superhero.
Yeah, very cinematic.
Yeah.
Huh.
Aren't people on Flock, aren't they like always weirdly strong?
I think so. They don't feel pain.
Right.
Because they'll like jump out of a tree and like land on their knees and like need blood everywhere and they're like, they don't feel it.
Right. So superhero. That's what we'll go with.
Did the superhero landing on the street.
So I don't know, man. That was our weirdness for that night.
That'd be enough.
Yeah. So
how long did you watch this dead body or this body before you guys?
It was a span of like 5 to 10 minutes.
And no one went over and like made sure that it wasn't a person just about to be run over in the middle of the road?
No.
Okay. I just want to make sure we're putting that out there. We just watched this happen.
Robbie, I'm a small town man in a big town place, man. Like you just let it happen.
No, but a small town man in a big town place, like, how can I help?
No,
then, that's how you get mugged.
No,
but
I'm scared, Robbie. I'm scared for my life.
He's an esteemed member of the media. He just watches the story and reports on it. He doesn't act.
That's fair.
It's true. I don't want to get involved.
That's fair. We don't want to change the story.
Media bias.
Yep.
Whatever happens, happens, and I'm just here to report it.
That's fair.
So we got on a bus and left. And then the cop was driving around pointing his spotlight at the gutters of the road, trying to find him.
Yep, he's gone.
So that was the thing.
Wow.
It is what it is.
Texas is crazy.
Texas is crazy. So notice he's not arguing.
No, he gets it.
No, so I was just thinking about the number of people that got their shit broken into over the span of 3 days.
Yeah.
Everybody, apparently.
Multiple people got their stuff. Dusty spent an extended period of time debating with himself as to whether it was better to park his car in the back row of the parking lot because he could park underneath a street light, or park in the front row of the parking lot because it was closer to the building but not underneath a street light. So was it better to be farther away from the building but very visible to the interstate that was right against it, or was it better to be closer to the building where there's more likely to be people but be in the dark? This was the challenge that Dusty faced.
In the second half of that was I loaded all of my crap up and took it into the hotel room both nights.
Oh, I would have done the same thing. I would have probably parked it next to other cars close to the building.
There was nowhere you couldn't park where there were other cars. There weren't other cars.
So there's always a car on both sides.
It was a packed parking lot.
Okay. That would make me feel a little better, actually.
In fact, Saturday night we had to park in another hotel's parking lot.
Oh, that sucks.
When we got back from Rally Ready Racing School.
We'll get there.
It ruined my life, Robbie.
Been there. I know the feeling.
No, you don't.
It's a different feeling, but I know what it feels like to change the trajectory.
We'll talk about kinks later.
Hell yeah.
Jesus Christ. So I guess that brings us to Saturday morning. We went to the racetrack. It was a track. Things happened.
We don't need to talk about what happened. I mean, yeah, who cares, right?
Ferris went really fast, as expected. Will went really fast. Will, nobody knew, at least I had been told by a few people that Will had said he was bringing the RSX and running it in limited. And then we get there, and the Civic is there in unlimited.
Yes, I saw him post about the Civic before the event, so I knew that was going to be there.
I didn't know it was going to be there.
So yeah, he'd been on the entry list in limited with the Civic or with the
RSX.
The RSX, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we checked it again Friday night when we started talking about it, and it was unlimited with the Civic, yeah.
It's a wild Civic.
Dude.
It has the craziest diffuser and tunnel setup of anything outside of the Life GTR that I've seen in person.
Yeah, it's very world time attacky.
Yeah, the suspension links are in the tunnel.
Yeah, it's basically just a tunnel.
All the way
all the rear.
All the way to the front. It goes all the way.
All the way.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And then the coil over the shock and spring is cantilever in the trunk, like the NPO one. There's another picture with the trunk open. It's in there, and yeah, it's
there it is. Terrible picture.
Yeah, it's a terrible. It was really bad lighting. I don't know what to tell you. My phone's a piece of shit. Deal with it. But yeah, like dude. It's all carbon.
Every inch of that car.
So the barge boards on the side, you can tell they're still Alumilite because you can see the honeycomb on the side of them.
Okay.
But everything else is carbon, like the fenders, the diffuser, the splitter, like everything is carbon. The doors, I'm pretty sure. The rear window has been replaced with a big sheet of carbon.
I would assume that the roof skin, everything.
Tail lights have been replaced with carbon. It just has a big LED like FIA rain light where the license plate used to be. That's his brake light now, and the factory tail lights have been replaced with very well molded carbon replicas.
Nice.
And it's all just gorgeous.
Yeah, you can't look on that car anywhere and not see some kind of cool detail. Like the backs of the fenders are vented out on the front of the, like right in front of the door, and it's like they've got little gurney flaps around the edges of the vent at the top, and just so many little details everywhere.
I'd like to see the CFD on that thing, like the analysis.
I don't know who
I
like if he does his aero on his own. I don't know of any like aero company he's partnered with, so I don't know if he's doing it on his own, if he's guessing, if it's. I can't imagine, number one, how professional he is, and number two, how fast the car is that he's just guessing.
Oh, yeah, there's no way he's just guessing.
But so I don't know if he's doing his own CFD work or if he's got somebody else in his corner. But any of the big names that I know of, he doesn't have any of them as
yes, I'm trying to see
partners.
Looking at the sponsor list, and I'm not seeing.
So the other thing that was interesting, in years past, this was a Yokohama only event.
Right.
He was on the Hoosiers.
Is it? Are they not a sponsor?
And there
anymore?
were a bunch of like Andy Hollis was there with his 720S that he runs in one lap.
Yeah.
And that was on the Supercar 3Rs, which are a Goodyear?
Michelin.
Not a yoke.
No, Goodyear.
They are Goodyear?
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the Pilot Sports. Yeah. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah. So I guess Yokohama was still a sponsor, but I guess it's no longer required that they run it.
I wonder if it's a supply chain thing.
I don't know.
Because, I mean, a lot of people can't get a lot of tires already.
Well, I mean, I personally don't like the idea. I get that the sponsor dollar has to come, and that's fine, but, like, it also limits a lot of things.
Oh, for sure. And if you're paying full retail for it, it really sucks.
Yeah.
So,
it was cool to see that car. I was very excited to see, obviously. Ferris's car, obviously very excited to see. He fought with a lot of issues.
Did he really?
We got to talk to him a little bit at the end of the weekend. He was very busy every time I went in there with the car. But at the end of the weekend there, before we went home, Josh and I stopped in there and talked to him a little bit. He said in testing at, I'm assuming Crescent, is that his home track?
Yeah, he did. I think he said he did like one session at Crescent.
Yeah, so
he ran like 4 laps to just run the car till it got hot.
Right, and he went faster than he's ever gone there, and that's like his home track.
Okay,
right. So that's a good sign. That's a pretty tight track, isn't it? Would you say?
Yeah, it's not. It's 1.7 miles. It's got one decently long straight that he runs like 150 or something on, something crazy.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of Gingerman-esque.
Okay,
like still kind of fast, but on the smaller side.
Right. Not one of the tracks you would think of when you think of where this car really comes into its own, I don't think.
Yeah,
right?
and like the longer straight there, his onboard videos, it doesn't look like a straight. It just looks like it's like 2 corners connecting in an S, and it's like a pretty long straight.
But he's here and then he's there.
Yeah.
He's at the exit of the corner. Now he's braking.
Yeah, there's a tear in the space-time continuum somewhere between Big Bend and Rattlesnake. That's the two corners are called.
But only for him. For everybody else, they have to take it.
Yeah, it's a proper straight.
Yeah. So I guess something happened with the car first session out, and I think he thinks from what he was talking to us that it was something broken in like a body mount or something like that for the front aero of the car.
So it looked like he was scraping
and basically over 150 miles an hour, the car would vibrate and resonate really bad.
Oh, shoot.
He said the only thing that I can think of that you could compare it to would be like taking your head and putting it in one of those paint shakers they have at Home Depot.
So he posted onboard video in his post on Facebook.
Violent.
And it looks like a fighter jet like fluttering or something. Like it looks. I can't think of anything other than like a high powered drag car shaking the tires, or like a plane that's just trying to disintegrate. It's the most mind boggling crap I've ever seen, and he's an absolute lunatic for staying in it.
He said it would start he said it started around 150. And I think the car is gearing limited to like 185.
Yep.
And he's at that like before the halfway point of the back straight, basically, because the car is a fucking rocket ship.
That's crazy. Curious if that arrow is hitting like a weird resonance, so that his spring rates are hitting that resonance at the same time.
He told me he put 4 inches of of bump stop rubber on the front of that car to try and keep it off the ground this weekend. Like just trying to Band-Aid it through.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
He's reached the level of downforce now that it's you're gonna have to talk to like Formula Car people to start figuring out how to make things work.
Yeah, I'm curious if he's. I mean, I'm just thinking out loud. I could be way off base. So I'm curious if his aero is dramatically overpowering his suspension setup.
Yeah, I know. Like a lot of the World Time Attack cars, they use this third spring or third coil over. I don't know how it really works.
Yeah, and I have no idea what his suspension sesetup is. So.
Yeah, I think it's still. I mean, for lack of a better term,
like a coil, like a stock coil over
like
setup.
What drag racers would call factory, because it's the same style
and same location,
right? And I mean, give or take.
Yeah, because I didn't. Yeah, so I don't follow that closely, but I didn't think he had done any dramatic suspension changes.
I don't think he's cut off the front end and tubed it and built some crazy custom.
Not that I remember.
Control arm suspension setup.
It's still very Corvette as far as I know. Like,
okay.
I think it's still like Penske off-the-shelf coilovers in conventional locations, and
he might. I know
a couple of years ago, after he first put the big wing on, I think he was talking to Will about like bump stop tuning and that kind of stuff. The infancy of the big arrow on it. So
yeah,
I'm sure he's done a lot more than I could imagine, but I'm curious if that's what he's fighting.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that is rocket ship fast. That is a wild build.
It's such a cool car.
2039 with it like trying to shake itself apart for half the lap.
His goal was sub 2.
Yep, which is insanely fast.
He was within 300ths of Life's record from last year off the trailer.
Wow.
So, of note to that, Life did blow a drive shaft coming out of the last corner and basically coast across the start-finish line. Last year. Life was not there this year. I think that a lot of the aero that's on Sydney, which is their Time Attack R35, is ending up on their diesel Pikes Peak build that they're doing right now. And so I think they stole a bunch of those parts off of their A chassis to put on that
Pikes Peak build.
And so then that's the focus this year, so we probably won't get to see the GTR much.
Yeah, and they're probably thrashing.
I was bummed that they. Oh yeah, I'm sure. I was bummed that they didn't show up, because it's always a contender car, and I'm convinced that we have not seen as fast as that car can go there.
Right.
Because I still think that the first year he just went fast enough to beat James, and then the last 2 years he's been fighting a bunch of problems, and then this year he wasn't there.
Right.
So I'm still convinced that car's got more in it. The way that drive shaft broke, that was probably 1 to 2, if not more, seconds right there.
For sure.
And that would have been as faster than Ferris was this year already, just by itself. So, and it would, Will went like 209 off the trailer, which is dumb fast, and then ended up like in the high 204s by the end of the weekend.
Crazy.
Found a bunch of time between Saturday night and Sunday morning, like 4 seconds worth of time.
Jeez.
Just, I don't know, going over data and changing stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, probably both.
Just found a ton of time.
Well, so he posted too that car hadn't. It's only run Pikes Peak, so it had never been over like 130. And obviously Coda's a lot different. You're finding out a lot of things about the car past that speed at that track.
I just don't think that, like, obviously Will is a very talented driver with an incredible car that is very, very, very fast. But I don't think that a 4-cylinder car can keep up with something like Ferris at a track like Coda.
Yeah, I would agree.
Because like the power that a twin-turboed V8 is capable of making, without really, I mean, obviously it's a lot to make that power, but like you're asking way less of that engine to create that power than you would need to ask of a K-Series Honda.
For sure.
Yeah, you're talking about like crazy exotic billet drag car stuff if you're trying to make that power level with a K motor. So
right.
That's a steep hill to climb to make that last for 2 minutes on a road course versus the 6-7 seconds.
Most of the rest of the tracks that like a Grid Life season will bring you to,
yep.
I think Will could really could run neck and neck and even beat Ferris's car at any of those. Like at Gingerman, if these two line up this year, it's going to be an epic duel that I think Will could very easily come out on top of. But at Road America, it probably isn't going to happen there either.
No, I think
just realistically,
your big power tracks are going to favor Ferris.
Yeah. So either way, I'm excited to see how the year goes. I'm excited the fact that the Canadians are back.
Hell yeah.
That they're bringing the crazy cars. I still haven't seen the Integra, but I'm hoping it comes back eventually.
He's in GLTC. It don't matter.
Don't get me started, Robbie. The number of names that were in the GLTC entry list this year that have ran Super Lap Battle events in the past is upsetting.
Why? Because they've all transitioned?
Well, there's even some people that there's some of those cars that were there that I don't know how many Grid Life events they're going to run. Maybe they'll run a bunch. I don't know. But Mike McGinnis was there in a Subaru. He's ran Super
crazy
Laps.
Fast GTR.
Yeah, he's got a crazy fast GTR that he's ran at pretty much all the Super Laps in the past.
I think he's a Texas guy, I think. So
yeah. And there were a handful of other ones that were names that I remember seeing on the entry list in Time Attack, and now they're over there being slow.
Wheel to wheeling.
220 horsepower if they're lucky.
Or if they're unlucky, it's 244, but it's not flat, and you're fucking in the back. Ask me how I know.
Oh, Robbie. So, Saturday GLTC stuff. There was a practice, a quali, and race one.
Race one, yeah.
I don't remember if anything was all that.
I don't remember race one having drama. Because I watched race one, and because I kind of had the whole thing on live stream because I was working in the shop because I finally got you know what, I have a Saturday because after the race I was like I'm gonna do nothing. I'm gonna take the whole weekend and do nothing because I've been working to get the car ready for NOLA.
Right.
And then I woke up Saturday morning. I'm like, I'm fucking bored already.
I gotta do something.
So I finished.
I've been up 10 minutes. I'm bored out of my mind.
Yep. So I literally got out to the shop, pulled the stream up, had it on the TV, and watched it all day while I cleaned out. I literally just cleaned out the shop all the way completely, and then finished the alignment on the Z. Got the Z basically completely put back together,
so it can sit. Dusty's gonna rent it from you.
I should probably take it to at least one track day to make sure I didn't completely botch something. Because if I crash and die, it's a lot less of a problem than if he crashes and dies.
That's fair. You wouldn't want that on your conscience.
Exactly.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Hey, you're talking to a guy that had the rear suspension apart on his car 3 separate times within 30 minutes of leaving to drive to Austin and then on Friday. So I know a little thing or two about being in a sketchy Z. So
hey, my people.
It was fine. Yeah, he didn't even take it to Rally Ready this year.
So dramatic.
Yeah, if it happens again, I know the road is not nearly as bad as the road that we found last year.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal was, but they've dramatically improved the approach.
Oh, nice. So,
one thing that was kind of interesting that I'm sure everybody who was watching live stream stuff saw, the fastest time in qualifying, that car got DQ'd and put to the back.
Oh yeah,
in race one.
Yep.
We were kind of standing there by the scales after all the cars were coming in and getting scaled after quali, and that car rolled up and you could already kind of see his time was remarkably fast.
Yeah.
that's a relatively new build. I think he ran it at Road America last year. But that's a relatively new build. It's a Porsche Cayman. But Adam Jabay pulls out a tape measure and measures the wing and is like, yeah, this isn't legal, guys. And I think they ended up taking like 2 inches off of it, which isn't really like.
Well, he ran without it.
Oh, did he run without it?
Or am I thinking of a different car? Because there was a car in the back.
There was a Corvette that ran without a wing.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. I do remember that.
Yeah, he had pylons but no wing.
Yeah, they had it on all weekend.
Okay,
yeah.
Then.
So I saw them between the qualifying session and race 1 session, going at the wing with an oscillating tool.
Oh, okay. Then yes, I'm thinking of someone else then.
Making it narrower. So what I had kind of been told was, I guess some small rules changed with the wings from last year to this year. Maybe
2 years ago.
I don't know.
Or maybe it did. I don't remember.
And something didn't get adjusted accordingly with that car.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
So, but I think there was maybe more to that than what we saw because
with that
lost
type of,
a lot of time.
Yeah, with that time disparity, I would imagine.
Yeah. But I don't know. It was interesting to see, like, so Grid Life brings its own grid crew.
Yep.
Right. And there's its own people that's running the grid. And there's guys, there's like Pete Lindbergh was working, was kind of like the grid master, if you will, with, the patented Adam Jabay whistle, kind of call it, letting people know what was going on and sending the cars starting. And then Charlie, who is, the Grid Life like lead tech inspector guy and stuff like that. He's there like as the cars are going out. He's doing the chin strap pull, like making sure telling every driver, I want to see your chin straps, make sure they're all strapped up.
Chin straps and harnesses.
Yep, and they look very professional. Everything's really well oiled. Like they know what they're doing, and you don't see any of that when the time attack sessions go out.
Oh shoot.
And so they know how to run an event. They're very good at it.
Yeah, they run a tight ship.
They run a tight ship, and no doubt.
It shows.
Well, for GLTC, they're doing that like for like 100 sessions a year at this point.
Well, yeah, I mean,
yep.
Yeah, especially because they do the same thing for the time attack sessions at a regular Grid Life event. So they're doing that
all day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
3 days a weekend, 10 to 12 weekends a year. So, because what is it, like 5 races in a GLTC weekend plus a practice and a quali?
No, it's 4. Normally 4.
4 races.
Like if you get a weekend that has a fun race, like Festival did last year, you get 5.
So 4. So 6. You get 6 sessions a weekend. That's probably about what every time attack car gets too.
Yeah, typically.
And there's 6 time attack sessions. That's a lot of sessions a day. Plus HPDE, they'd probably do the same thing for HPDE.
I believe so. Yes.
So
when we were doing,
they look professional. It's cool to watch.
I mimicked a lot of what they do when we run the Midiv stuff, and I'm doing grid. I'm basically mimicking what they do.
Yeah,
like my driver's meeting is basically a copy of what Adam Jabay's is.
Right,
and then
he gave you some notes even.
Yeah,
didn't he?
Yep. I took it and modified it, but yeah, it's basically the same thing.
Right.
And then the way they do grid, we all but copied that.
So,
because it's good.
I think it was just interesting to see 2 different sanctioning bodies running in the same weekend and see their different approaches to it. Mm-hmm. Superlap was much more nonchalant about the way things move in and out.
And not to be like time attack versus wheel to wheel, but I'm sure you can be a little more lax
at Grid Life.
With time attack.
They treat every session exactly the same.
True, but I think you don't have to have quite the organization with the time attack session.
Yeah, it's less important because if someone doesn't get out in their spot, then so what?
Right.
Find them a gap and send them.
Right.
So, but yeah, that was cool. So I don't know. Is there anything you would talk about for Saturday at the event?
One more thing on that, you'd have to give both them and the track credit. Like there was a lot of oil downs and random things, and like they got a little bit behind schedule on Sunday, but it was still just like there was very little downtime for the 2 full days of track time. So
yeah, the live stream was like right where it was expected to be. They're maybe 15 minutes off.
One thing that I don't know if there's a way to do this, but COTA needs to try and see if they can figure out. So at Road America, there's a track exit at 4. At turn 4.
Yeah, so you don't have to do the full lap.
You've got plenty of time to cool the car down after you cross start finish, but you don't have to do a whole lap of a 4.5 mile racetrack.
Yep.
COTA needs that.
Well, the problem with COTA is like you go down the front straight and you take your turn, and then you just go away.
You're gone.
So there's like, I
feel like they could exit. They could exit after the S's and come out there where the drift crew is, and like.
Yeah, there is a turnout where you can do that, because the first time that I ran down there, we did that, and it cuts a ton of time off.
I don't know if Superlap doesn't want to do that because of all the pedestrian traffic that's running through there all the time. Yeah, or that probably wouldn't be the safest thing in the world, but man, they would save a ton of wasted track time.
Yep.
Yeah, I would guess that that's the issue, because it's always a circus over there around the drift paddock, and
there's a ton of spectators over there.
Okay, then I guess it makes more sense. But yeah,
because it dumps you out right on that road, in the middle of where they are.
Yeah, but man, it's a ton of wasted time.
Yes, it is.
So,
yeah, that's part. It's just part of the deal with a great big huge track like that place is.
Yeah, I get that. So, you have anything else you want to talk about for Saturday at the racetrack?
People aren't here for content at the track.
I know.
It was cool. It was cool the first GLTC race to just see James just doing what James does. I think he started like 3rd or 4th, and then just motored right to the front and pulled a gap. And that car looked just like it. It looked just like it did 2 years ago, the last time he was down here, except that everybody's gotten faster since then. So
yeah,
I remember as we were coming into the track on Saturday morning, I kind of wondered out loud, like, I realized the car has gone through a lot of development, and he hasn't just sat back and let things happen, but GLTC has developed at a pace that I don't think is normal for most race series, and it was really probably very hard for him to gauge. Obviously he knows the car is improving, and he knows that he's improving because he's put a ton of time in the simulator.
Oh, for sure. That's all he does.
Yeah, it's a ton of time. You see him posting about it all the time. But so that he's improved as a driver and the car has improved on the track, but is it enough? And then he went out there race 1 and
he was out front.
It's fine. Yeah, you guys got faster, but I didn't get slow.
No, he did not.
So.
And I kind of wondered too, because he was one of the few 2 years ago that was all in on the street tire setup, right? Or no, he was running Hoosiers though.
Nope. He was all in on.
He was all in on
because the design of the car, or the idea of the car, was to have the highest horsepower you could have.
Yeah,
and it was the idea would be a huge advantage at places like Road America and COTA.
Yeah.
So him being all in on the street tire setup back, originally probably gave him a little bit of a leg up on the new setup. Where, I think a lot of the really fast guys are probably, still honing in on the setup a little bit as far as how the strategy works through the races.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of first time GLTC racers there this weekend too. So
yeah, a lot of not Texas locals, but there was definitely a good number of new guys.
Yeah. So
and they all had a lot of good showing. Like it was
so
a lot of the new guys weren't part of any issues. Really.
Yeah. Fast guys too.
Yeah.
Right out the box. Plenty of them. So.
Yep.
Yeah, it was quite a deal. So many Corvettes.
Spec Corvette.
That already exists. It's a NASA class.
It's what we do down here. We grow fast Corvettes on trees, and then they just pick them off and they take them to the racetrack.
Yeah,
I can't go to the track without being surrounded by
too.
Corvettes.
Apparently, they do that in Minnesota as well.
Yeah.
So craziness.
Yep.
So Saturday night.
Yeah, what everyone wants to hear about
is when the debauchery started. We weren't even really that out of control.
No, it does.
It was. I mean, we did some silly things, but it wasn't really dumb. So Saturday night again, they did Rally Ready, get get together. We went there. They called it Snack Battle. There wasn't really any food there, which kind of sucked.
That's disappointing.
That was kind of promised.
That's kind of that's the opposite of what they promised.
Kind of promised food, and there wasn't any really there.
Hey, there was dessert sausage.
There was dessert sausage.
Tell me more about this dessert sausage.
It came with it was like a piece of smoked.
Like
it looked like
a summer
it was
sausage?
like bratwurst sized.
Okay.
Right, but like a piece of sausage, and then it came with like a caramel glaze and whipped cream. It almost looked like syrup.
Okay.
And apparently it was very good.
It was.
You didn't have one?
It was
no, because I was. They were kind of talking about like, oh, it's got a little heat to it. Like, well, fucking out.
We gotta at least try it.
I don't have to try anything.
Adam,
Robbie.
just put the meat in your mouth.
I don't want to do it, Robbie.
Disappointed. I would have tried it.
You tried it, right?
Yeah, it was. I don't know. It was different. I'm not a big sausage.
Was that like a breakfast sausage type?
With, so.
Like you put,
No.
like, it wasn't like that. Like where you have the syrup on your sausage.
No, it was absolutely nothing like breakfast sausage. I don't know.
Okay.
It was strange, but I was distracted because there were things happening just down the way that
Trophy trucks
gathered my attention pretty quickly whenever we got there.
Yeah. So this year they had a trophy truck there. I think it was like a Pro 4 class Baja truck.
So it was a 6100 class spec trophy truck. So 2-wheel drive, like I'm assuming like crate LS, best in the desert score off-road type thing.
So is this kind of like what Vaughn had at PPIR?
Kind of. I think his was bigger.
That's an Ultra 4.
Okay.
I think his was bigger.
Yeah.
Probably comparable size, but just taller because they do like rock crawling and like, so Ultra 4, they'll do rock crawling and then race through the desert and like short course type off-road with jumps all as part of a lap.
You seem to know a lot about this.
He makes RG cars that do this.
I'm aware. I'm giving him shit for it.
So like the one we rode in would be like a Baja 1000 Vegas to Reno Mint 400 type thing where you're just going out and just bombing across the desert.
Literally the greatest thing in the world, Robbie.
Pounding big 3 and 4 foot whoops sections and that kind of stuff.
So they have like a little short course lap track thing set up here, right? When we got there, it was already basically dark because I'm too social and spent too much time talking to random people, and we couldn't get out of the track on time.
Well, and also somebody didn't want to drive their car out there, so we had to run back to the hotel.
That's true. So. Yeah, some jerk who raised his suspension and then still didn't want to drive it off road.
Wow. VQ people.
Right? The worst,
the
Robbie.
worst.
The absolute worst.
Ugh, gross.
Bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
Can confirm.
Nissan.
The things I could tell you about Nissan guys.
You don't have to, Robbie.
Don't get me started.
You don't have to.
Don't get me started.
So by the time we got there, it was already kind of dark, so we didn't really get to see the course at all. But they were giving... So you could either... The things we could do there this weekend... you could drive a little like naturally aspirated Subaru on a rallycross course, basically.
Okay.
And I think that was like $20 or $30.
$20 for a lap, and it was like a rallycross style lap, so just kind of down and back with some cones.
Let's say sub-minute for sure.
$20 a minute is kind of
maybe
high.
30 seconds.
It's a little steep for an autocross run.
And then riding in the trophy truck thing, $50.
It's a little steep, but
and at first I was like, nah, bro.
It's a lot of money.
I was like, nah, bro. I'm not doing this. But Dalton and Dusty and Josh are like, yeah.
We're doing this.
Yeah, we're doing this. Like, not even thinking twice about it. And then they signed up for it, and we watched a couple other people do it because where we got there, we could see the truck leave, but we couldn't see anything else.
Uh-huh.
And where they had signed up for it, we couldn't really see anything. And then we went over where the truck was loading the passengers, and you could see him like out in the trees, like
ripping,
bombing,
dude, 12, 15 foot in the air, 50, 60 foot before you hit the ground, just hauling ass. And I was like, okay, Okay, now and I'm like thinking about. I like even pulled up my Wells Fargo app. I was like, how much money? Fuck. Like, when am I ever gonna get to do this again? Right?
The best part is, you're in your mind. I'm thinking, you're thinking about it, and you've already decided that you're gonna do it. But you're like, as soon as that money leaves the account, you're gonna get a text from Katie that says, "Where the fuck did that money go?"
Nah, she doesn't have access to that. I ain't stupid. She still doesn't know that I paid for that. That's fine.
That's okay.
She doesn't.
She does listen to the podcast.
It's happened already. She can't be taken back. I did end up putting it on my credit card. It's it's fine, Robert.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's
Robert.
fine. It's so much easier to ask for forgiveness.
Oh, dude, it's whatever. But so yeah, I ended up buying one. Dusty already had his.
So by the time we got to ride in it, it is pitch black,
completely
dark.
I say it's dark,
and they don't have lighting.
It's not lit up. Lights. It's just the lights of the truck.
It's just whatever's on the truck. And like, so this is the first time where one of those stupid fucking LED bars that every bro has to have on his brodozer
works,
made sense and was usable.
Yes.
So, but it was completely pitch dark.
Yeah. So he flips the lights on this thing on the front, and it's got one big bar in the middle, and then two big like spotlight lights in the places where the headlights would be.
Yep. On
this truck, that I think the bottom of the window was like to my chin high. Like, these trucks are massive. They weigh like 6,000 pounds.
Jeez.
Dude, the control arms are like 4-inch tubing. They're huge.
I mean, they have to be, but yeah, that's crazy.
And then the front arms are like fully fabricated, welded plate steel, and
30 inches of suspension travel. It's so dumb.
Yeah, gigantic bypass shocks that are like 3 or 3.5 inch shaft. Like, the shaft inside the shock is 3 inches, so the body of the shock's even bigger.
Yeah.
It was running. They had 40-inch tires on it.
Jeez.
Everything about it is
wild.
Is huge.
Yeah.
And ridiculous.
Over the top.
And like the engine, when you look in the wheel wells, you have to look back towards the cab to look at the engine. I think it's literally like most of that engine is between the driver and passenger.
Okay. Which would make sense with the center of gravity right there, but
I think it was an automatic.
Well, and then also your suspension, everything, like the mounting points for the arms are like on maybe a 8 or 10 inch center in the middle of the truck. Yeah. So there's no
they're this far. The mounting points are this far apart from each other.
Okay.
So the engine has to be behind the front wheels.
Right.
Because there's nowhere for it to be between the wheels.
Wow. What a wild build.
They're tube chassis, like,
yeah, of course.
Like, this was never a real truck. It looks
like it could have been
like a Raptor, like I think a Ranger Raptor is probably what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah, it was a full. It would be like what a regular cab Raptor would look like, except it's so wide that it would need
all
like clearance lights to run down the highway.
Okay,
but it's all fiberglass. So, and then he just. Is it like a 3-speed or a 4-speed, you think? Or is it just
so like the big unlimited trucks are running like 5-speed sequentials now.
Yeah.
And all-wheel drive, but I'm guessing that one was probably just like a Turbo 400 3-speed automatic.
Right. That's kind of what I figured.
Built to withstand, 500 or 600 horsepower and swinging 40s around for 1,000 miles. So
he takes off. And you hit a couple whoops.
Yep.
They're not too bad. But so first of all, when he was talking to us about like getting in the truck and stuff like that, he said, "When we go on jumps, I know that your natural reaction will be to tense up.
Yeah, don't do that.
Relax body, like just
ragdoll it.
Yeah,
really.
just ragdoll it. He's like, because if you get too tense, you'll pull a muscle." And I was like, okay, whatever, right? And so we just take off, and trees are fucking 6 inches away from you, like, because they just cut this trail through the brush.
Yep.
And he hits the first jump, and you're in the air, and you're looking at a tree, and you're like, "There's no way we're gonna survive this." Right, and he hits the ground and he locks up the brakes, and the whole truck, like, you go from like kind of sitting upwards a little bit to like staring at the fucking ground, because the thing has so much suspension travel and it's so plush and soft.
Yep.
And when you lock up the brakes, the whole thing just pitches forward, and you're just, dude, I swear he's doing stoppies, but he doesn't, because he has 30 inches of suspension travel. Wildest.
So each one of the turns on this course they have set up is probably a 5 foot tall berm.
Yeah, it's a big. They're like banked corners.
Yeah, like a motocross.
Yeah,
and this sucker is like flying toward these berms, and I'm just going, there's no way. And then it just stands up on that outside tire, and like well before the turn, he's hard on the gas again, and it just whips the back end around, and all of a sudden we're going the other direction.
It was so crazy.
It's like, this big bastard should not change directions like this, but here we are. We're going that way now.
Nothing that is that size and has that kind of weight
should move like that.
Should be, and has like that plush of a suspension, should be able to turn and maintain the lateral grip that truck was doing on the dirt. It's the dumbest thing I've ever experienced.
Huh.
And then
I think the highlight for me was running back up the middle of the course and then making a hairpin turn, like back where everybody was standing in the gate where you come in.
Yeah.
And then running back through the dust. So it's like white out dust in front of you. And there's 2 jumps coming. I know there's 2 jumps coming because I saw it go over them earlier. And all of a sudden, dust gone, jump, land, jump, and the track like goes like 45 degrees the other direction while we're still in the air, and it splits 2 trees whenever it goes over that way. And I just like, there's no way this is happening, and it just goes.
Some of those turns we were making in the air, I'm convinced of it. Like he had launched the truck at a 45-degree angle so that when it landed, he could make the corner. I swear.
I distinctly remember looking out the passenger side window at a tree that I was heading straight at somehow. and just laughing the whole time.
Well, and then the other thing is, so when you're sitting in the passenger seat, if you look down between your legs, you can see the front wheel and tire.
Oh.
There's no inner fender.
Oh.
And so it's kicking shit at your face the whole time.
I like how it's not you do.
And they gave us open face helmets, and so you're getting.
Now's a good time to.
He's like, keep your mouth shut. Like, okay.
You don't say.
Yeah, but the problem was I was laughing like a little girl the entire time.
Yeah.
So they gave you safety glasses at least, though.
Yeah, if you didn't have regular glasses, he had a pair of safety glasses that
that's nice.
Would have you wear.
I mean, it does next to jack shit to the dust that goes around it, but it's nice that you had it.
It doesn't keep rocks out of your mouth either, Robbie.
Nope.
Still spitting gravel out of my teeth.
I felt like I looked like Tom Cruise at the end of a race in Days of Thunder whenever I got down and just all black.
So he does one lap, and like in the back section, there's a fork in the road.
Yep.
And so the first one he goes to the right and goes back to the front and then does that hard hairpin and then runs the same like 2/3 of the track that we did the first time. And then the second time he stays left, and that's more straight, and you go a little farther away. And because that's more straight, he gets more speed, and then that's where the 2 biggest jumps are. Dude, I can't. I want to go back so bad. Like, seriously, I text Katie and I was like, this is better than sex. I told Katie that flat out. She goes, well, next time you want to have sex, you could just ride in the trophy truck. And I was like, if I could, I would. I don't even care. This is the best thing I've ever done in my life.
I remember you said it in the group, and I responded with, you're doing sex wrong, knowing full well in my heart that I'm just saying that because I'm jealous I'm not there.
No, Robbie, you're racing wrong is what is happening, because this is the single greatest automotive sport on the planet.
I don't disagree with that.
I know that we have talked about how awesome Stadium Super Truck would be.
Yes.
I now think it's better than I used to think it would be.
Yeah, for sure.
It's seriously the most fun thing you can possibly do with or without clothes on. I'm convinced of it. There is nothing in the world more fun than that truck.
I'm not going to argue with you.
I'm convinced of this.
I was talking to some, like, obviously it's not this, but like when I was talking to somebody about the race in NOLA and driving the NPO1.
Yeah.
And they're like, so what's it like? And I was like, if I could shoot that feeling into my arm, I would. That's how good it feels to drive the NPO1.
Dusty was shaking for like 10 minutes.
Yeah. And I firmly believe that because like I've done motocross stuff, I've done race stuff, and you put those together, and that's what you get with the trophy truck,
dude.
But turned up to 11.
It was the greatest experience of my life.
Man, it's a good thing she don't listen to this.
I will tell that to her face.
So is this where we start to talk about kinks, or where we are?
Yeah, Robbie. No, we've
talked about this. This
is where you end up in 5 years.
I'm not mad about that. I'm actually quite happy about that.
I found
my kink.
I found your kink. When you've dove headfirst into the hardest of core, this is where you end up.
I'm good with that. I'm good with my future if that's the case.
So a little bit of a reference. The chassis on that truck was made by Blitzkrieg Motorsports. You can get a 6100 chassis roller. So this is just a chassis with, I don't think, any type of drivetrain in it and no fiberglass body on it.
What's that cost?
Does it have suspension though?
Yeah, so
it's got the shocks and all that.
I think that's shocks and everything.
Okay,
but yeah, that's $65,000.
I mean, LSs are like $12.
Yeah, I was like, you could get that. You could do that.
$65,000, really?
Yep.
That seems like a steal of a deal, Robbie.
So, and that's, then
that's not bad.
To build a full competitive truck, I think you're
into the hundreds, but
125, 150 for a spec class truck. And
but like to buy a used one just to do really dumb shit in my pasture with doesn't seem that out of reach.
Nope. And you wouldn't necessarily need to have something this turned up.
I don't agree with that statement.
I mean,
I don't agree with that statement.
I mean,
you could do 9/10 of that and for a fraction of the price and still get that same feeling.
Well, I was thinking about this today at work, actually.
You've been thinking about this nonstop since you got home.
Well, yeah, but actually I was thinking about that. And today I was thinking about other options, alternative options. Right. Because my dad's like, oh, well, like, if you think that's fun, like, maybe you should look into these side-by-sides. I'm like, bro, those are like $40,000. Like, that's not where
you can build a full-size truck into a pre-runner cheaper than you can do a side-by-side.
I own an S10 already.
Don't give me that kind of hope. Don't do that.
So
I mean, seriously.
Don't do that if you're not serious. Don't even put it out there if you're not serious. We'll make this happen.
We've done like years ago when we did that dumb Pimp My Ride thing where we pimped. I already spec'd out the pro or the pre-runner suspension for an Avalanche. And there's companies that make full kits for my truck for pre-runner to have like 15 inches of suspension travel.
We should do this. I will help you. We have room in my shop for this project.
I don't have that kind of money.
Credit cards have that kind of money, Adam.
No, that's not where I'm at in my life.
Tax returns have that kind of money.
But like, I don't even know if I care about building a track car.
Nah, build this.
Literally the only thing that's keeping me from being more serious about building that is that I have zero places to take it.
I think you'd be surprised. I think we could find places.
Nothing close.
Close-ish.
I'm tired of driving so far, Robbie.
I get that. But you would drive to Texas tomorrow if you got back in that truck.
I mean, I'd move to Texas tomorrow if that was the option. Seriously, I don't know that there is a cooler place to live than Rally Ready Ranch.
Yeah, they've got rally cars. They've got a trophy truck. They've got random dogs. I mean,
so apparently they have a deal where
everything I need in my life.
They are part of like some sort of dog adoption program in the area, and there's just like dogs that run around there.
That's nice.
And like, you think you're far away?
No, they're in the sticks.
They're out in the middle of fucking nowhere. And they have like full-on rally stages in that place for the cars.
So they have like what? Hundreds of acres?
Probably. I have no idea. But it's paradise.
We should move to Texas.
I mean, I don't want to move to Texas, especially little California, Texas, which is what Austin really is anymore.
We have to live in Austin.
That's not where I'm at.
But if you live in the sticks outside of Austin, it sounds great.
That's fair. I'll tell you this. They need some people working on their telecommunication infrastructure because that shit was garbage down there. Gross.
I know just the guy for this.
Ugh. Dusty's looking up how much acreage they have there, I'm pretty sure.
It's 1,300.
So, well, he's digging around. Oh, did you find it?
6 miles of tracks and 137 acres total. So yeah, they've got
6 miles.
They've got tracks that just run out through the trees, like full like stage rally type roads.
Perfect.
That's
the life we should be living.
Yeah, and then he's got like this big pole barn that has 3 lifts in it.
Yep.
And there's like 6 rally cars on the other side, and there's pallet shelving all the way to the ceiling just full of spare parts. And, you know, there's Evos and Subarus, and there was a Honda Civic, and like they just live the life.
Yeah.
They need a pre-runner S10 though.
Yeah, they do. So do you.
Yeah. So last year when we got there to Rally Ready, Fielding Shredder of Netflix fame, had to put a clutch in his car, and so he brought it in there, and they put it on a lift, and they used a piece of like a railroad tie piece of lumber or whatever.
It was a landscape timber.
Yeah, like a 4x4 landscape timber as a tranny jack to remove his jack. Or to remove his transmission. And we kind of talked about that last year. This year, Fielding Shredder needed to put a new clutch in his car, so we brought it to Rally Ready. And this year they had a transmission jack, so nice. Rally Dave is moving up in the world. So it wasn't quite as much shenanigans as last year. Last year, I remember them trying, like the timber was too long, so they were cutting it with a circular saw, but the circular saw blade depth wasn't deep enough. And they were like putting it on their foot when they're cutting it. Like someone was going to get hurt.
Yep.
They used a chop saw at one point, I think, too.
Oh, that's right. They did like a cage, like cutting, you know,
like smoking,
like a diamond blade for cutting steel tubing for cages.
But, by the way, how funny is Texas Dave?
I don't know that I ever talked to him.
He was upstairs. I ran upstairs for a minute. He was up there. But,
I was gonna say good. I kept bumping into him like a lot during one lap.
Yeah,
funniest motherfucker I've ever met.
Oh yeah,
at least like just
he's
the biggest personality.
He's living his best life.
Yep.
I don't know if it still exists, but at one point in time, he had an Evo that had the most insane aero package on it that he ran up Pikes Peak a couple of times with. And I would love to see that car pulled out of retirement and brought to a time attack event.
That'd be awesome.
Because it's really crazy. It's his banner picture on Facebook.
I'll have to look that up.
It has like tunnels cut in the doors and stuff.
Yeah, it's insane. It's his, at least when I was creeping on him probably a year ago, it was his Facebook banner picture.
Because he added me after one lap. We're friends.
It's Dave, whatever his actual last name is.
It's just Texas. There was a hood hanging on the wall.
Dave. Yeah, he's got a crazy last name.
Karapetyan. I butchered it.
I
changed it.
Lame.
So yeah, if you just search Texas Dave Pikes Peak, it comes up. It's got the big like monster Suzuki Escudo like splitter with fences up on the sides that go up the full height of the car.
Yeah, it's crazy. I would love to see that car at a time attack event. It's quite the deal.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, no, he was really funny. I remember we were at Lanier, and him and Bucky and all those guys, like, they're we're near doing circle track stuff, so they get all in like their do it for Dale outfits and their mullets and whatnot, and he's been filming it, and he's like, I was talking about the whole thing, and like I'll never forget it, but like for some reason it just sticks in my head. But he was talking about they're getting their car ready for it, and they're going to change the setup so it turns left, and I don't know how it even came up, but he made the comment. It's like, I don't know, man. Does a one-legged duck swim in a circle? And I'm like, what the fuck? Yes, it does, and you're right.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I've never seen a one-legged duck. I don't know what it does.
That's the kind of mindset that leads you to live on a ranch in the middle of nowhere in Texas with a trophy truck and a bunch of rally cars.
Yep.
Yeah.
Freaking hilarious dude, though. Yeah, so I would have loved to have hung out at the whole thing that you guys are doing.
Yeah. So after that, we gave Adam Jabay a ride back to the porn mansion because Grid Life once again rented the porn mansion, so that or for all their staff.
Yep. So this is the mansion that was. They had $1 million aspirations with $100,000 budget.
No. That house cost way more than $1 million to build.
Well, It probably didn't cost that, but it's worth it now, apparently.
Well, yeah, we're not like
Zillow appraises it at $1 million today.
What about last year?
Well, I don't know.
Way less.
Whoever appraised that didn't walk through it.
Right.
So, it's gotten worse.
Well, I suppose if everyone's partying there every weekend.
Well, no, just like the physical condition, the structural integrity of the house is less than it was in the past.
Wow.
It's sunk even farther, I think.
Jeez.
The ballroom, none of the windows can be opened, or one of them is stuck halfway open. It cannot be closed or opened any further. A lot of the panes have cracks in them. A lot of the panes of glass have cracks in them and breaks in them because of the house is shifted so dramatically.
Wow.
There's a spot, like right as you walk in the door, where two different walls meet at like a 45-degree angle. And there is a crack. It's a 2-story entryway, right?
Yep.
And there is a crack in that. There's a drywall crack in that joint that runs from ceiling to floor. And Adam, who is like a construction expert, he's like, that's a really hard thing. Like, that should be the strongest point. Like, that shouldn't ever crack.
Right.
Like, it should crack somewhere else because that's where it's strongest.
Yep. Not good.
That's where it should be strongest.
Right.
Well, then.
Yeah. So, this year, of course, once again, because our theme this year was tradition is tradition.
Of course.
And so we have to do it.
So Dalton got naked, got in the pool.
Right. So Dalton stripped down to the nudes and jumped in the pool. We went there this year earlier than we did last year. And so the average temp leading up to it had been probably colder than it was.
Yep.
And so the water was remarkably colder, I think, than it was last year. So he front flipped into the deep end of the pool, pops up and goes, "Holy shit, that's cold!" And
it was also only like 2/3 full.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah, last year it was full, wasn't it?
It wasn't full this year.
And had like undissolved chlorine tablets just sitting in it.
Oh,
like laying on the bottom of it.
Yikes!
And then the other thing was like, I couldn't tell how deep it was, and since it wasn't totally full, I was for at least a brief moment concerned for Dalton's safety.
That he hit the bottom
before he jumped in, and then I realized that I didn't care if he hit the bottom because he was doing it for the content, Robbie.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I do.
So this year, because we didn't have as much buildup leading up to the jump, Sam did not have as much time to get a towel, and so he spent a lot more time in the nude, shivering, standing there waiting for Sam to come back while we're all standing there staring at him. Jabay compared him to the statue of David.
I think that's a compliment, right? No? I feel like that's not a compliment.
Which part of the statue you're talking about.
Which part of the statue are you talking about, though?
Don't know.
It's got a tiny little thing in the middle there.
I guess I haven't paid attention.
Real tiny.
Is it?
Yeah.
Sorry, Dalton.
It was cold that day when Michelangelo was.
I guess I've never paid attention to how big it was.
Jabay said, and I quote, "Everything just tightened right up, didn't it?"
I bet.
I think he lost 10 pounds just jumping in there because everything went, oh, shit, it's cold.
Squeeze it right in.
So, yeah, that was the deal.
Good for him.
We did record a Patreon Slip Angle episode. It wasn't as rowdy as other ones have been in the past, so there will be some people disappointed.
Yeah, so he hasn't had a lot of wild stories.
But there was a few surprises that I'm not going to spoil.
That's good.
We'll just
leave it.
Just drop the hint of coconuts.
There was some fruit harmed in the making of this movie.
Let's say the only time I know about coconuts is when you guys are doing the high horse thing, so I'm not sure where.
He scared the shit out of me with it.
Yeah, Dalton found a new way to use coconuts.
All right, perfect.
Yeah. And they're not to cover movies. Sorry, Robbie.
Shoot. Well, hear about it on the Patreon.
Yeah, you have to listen to
those.
The Slip Angle.
New Patreon subscribers our way.
Yeah.
So it was a good time.
Nice.
I don't think that people live there full time now, but at some point in time, obviously somebody did.
Right.
And there's still some stuff left in the house.
Okay.
And there's like a closet in a bedroom that is supposed to be locked, but because the house is so out of whack, you could just pull the door open.
Right.
Like with zero effort.
Yeah, like it's like the latch isn't even latching.
Not really. Like it's latching a little bit. It's latching enough to keep the door closed.
Yes.
But if you pull it, it just pops right open.
Right.
And so obviously we were in there, right?
I mean, you got to see what's in there.
Yeah.
Why are you locking
So
this?
there was like a fur coat in there.
Dang.
Like a tiger striped fur coat that was very like Axl Rose.
Very gaudy.
So of course
Dalton wears it.
Dalton wore it for a while, and it fit the look. Like it was Dalton to a T.
All right.
There were some like black angel wings, like were part of a costume of some sort.
Okay.
That Scott Malloy had on for a little while. That was a deal. We also found a comic book that involved.
You might not need to talk about that in a public forum.
Terrible things. We're not going to talk about it.
Then why did you bring it up? I want to know.
That's all the farther I'm willing to go.
Then why would you bring it up?
Slide into my DMs.
Why would you do this to me? No, share a little bit.
No, Robbie.
Is this like something I could just go buy at a comic book store?
No.
Is it written and made?
No, it wasn't homemade. I mean, all comic books are written, Robbie.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, did they write it at home?
No, it was. But you can't just buy it at any old comic book store.
And it's not like a Garfield.
It was way more vulgar.
Like sexually.
Yes.
Like a hentai porn comic book.
I don't think it was hentai. It was just twisted.
I'd read that.
It made the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie they were watching downstairs look pretty okay.
Wow. I need to watch that too, by the way.
I was weirdly interested in it. I don't like horror movies.
No.
But I couldn't
look away.
I kept finding myself standing there watching it.
Yeah, like it looked, the trailer looked
Is there
super
a new
fucked
one?
up. Yeah, there's a brand new one on Netflix. Like it just came out like a week ago. 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, I think if they were watching it, that would have been like the second day it was out.
Okay. That explains a
I'm
lot.
assuming that's what they're watching.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll watch that eventually.
Chris Stewart was sitting there watching it, making the flyer for the Midwest Festival lineup.
Oh, nice.
So I got to see and hear some of what was going to be on the lineup before it was released as of today. Wednesday, yeah. So it's out now. I don't know any of them.
No, I recognize the little.
Dusty knew
Kavinsky.
Yep.
Which apparently, I don't know. I tried to listen to some of it today. It's just not my thing.
No, not really.
There was a big like EDM festival going on at Coda at night.
Okay.
That was separate from SLB, but just happened to be at the same place. It called Illfest.
Illfest.
Yeah, which according to Adam Jabay is the worst name you could possibly give one of those. Doesn't seem that bad, I guess.
It fits.
Illfest.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's an EDM festival.
Yeah.
The kids were there getting ill like they used to get lit and wet.
Exactly.
Right, exactly. Cascade headlined that as well.
Okay.
So that was kind of weird.
Been listening to some Cascade the past since Saturday, I guess.
Dusty's discovered a love for EDM.
It's not bad.
It's not my thing.
In the moment, at Savoy at Midwest.
Yeah,
Festival,
I'm sure it'll be fun to watch, but I can't.
I don't put it in my headphones and just listen.
Yeah. I was doing some splicing by myself today, and I like listening to music while I splice, not like podcasts or anything like that, because I find myself not paying attention to the work when I'm listening to shows. Whereas if I listen to music, I can pay attention to what I'm doing. And so I tried that, but it's just not my thing.
Nope. I enjoy the concerts. I don't really listen to the music.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I really don't enjoy concerts. So.
But, yeah. So I guess that was our Saturday.
All right. Saturday.
So fun fact before we move on from the mansion, the first year of Super Lap, it was worth $500,000.
Wait, what was?
So it's doubled in value.
Oh, the building?
The mansion has doubled in value during the lifetime of Super Lap Battle.
This is year 4.
Like every other dwelling in Texas has.
Yeah, and the thing is, Zillow is not basing it out of any actual, if that went to an inspection, obviously that value would go nowhere near that.
No.
Zillow is basing it on average home sales and that one's square footage.
On property and within Austin proper, it might do more than that, actually.
That's insane. Yeah. Especially if it's as structurally unsound as you make it sound.
So, the picture you have pulled up here that people on Facebook can look at, or on YouTube can look at, there's that beam that runs down the center of the ballroom, which used to be an outdoor patio area. That originally, when the house was built, that was not a room. That was outside.
Oh, wow.
But that beam that they added on twists in both directions. If you stand underneath it and you look up at it and you look along its path, it twists in both ways.
Wow.
It looks like a piece they pulled off a roller coaster, the way that it twists and turns.
Kind of reminds me of the DNA double helix from Jurassic Park.
Whoa.
Yeah, dude, it's bad.
I would enjoy reading through the home inspection of that house just because it'd be a shit show.
Yeah, it's so. Yeah,
Saturday was wild
for the boys.
But if you want to do something for yourself, head over to mypatchbox.com.
Oh shit!
Use the code TTP15 to get 15% off your first box or anything that's currently available in the store. Get a fancy shirt like this one that I'm wearing right now.
Hell yeah.
This one showed up in my box the other day.
Nice.
That would be Tuesday, Wednesday? I don't remember what day it was. It showed up. Once a month you get a box that shows up at your house. Presents to you. Car care products.
Box yet. WTF, mate.
Maybe they don't like you anymore. They gave you all those eBay gift cards they didn't give me, so there's that.
There was a reason for it, Robbie.
Rude. Anyways, but if you want to get car culture products, car care products, shirts, tools, all sorts of cool stuff that shows up once a month, use the code TTP15. MyPetrobox.com.
One other thing that we forgot to mention about our Saturday shenanigans. When we left Rally Ready and went to the house, since Snack Battle was lacking in the snacks, we were trying to find food, and Jabay was hell-bent on a mission to go eat tacos.
I like tacos.
And so we stopped at this place that's called a supermercado.
Okay.
Which is a gas station and grocery store, basically. They probably had 12 or 15 aisles of groceries, and there was a full-fledged bakery and a full meat counter in there.
Okay.
There was also a taco counter, but unfortunately at 9:45, there were no more tacos in it, which was supremely disappointed.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
Yeah. So we went in there. The meat market area looks really interesting to me because they had so many different kinds of like raw meats to buy and make delicious foods with.
Like a butcher shop.
Yeah, it was a full-fledged like butcher. I'm not convinced they weren't butchering animals in there.
Okay.
Jabay thinks they were when he was in there at 6 o'clock that morning.
Yeah, they might have been.
And like they had like crawfish and crabs and shrimp and like 2 or 3 different kinds of shrimp, and then there was the beef and the pork and the chicken, and like, dude, it was all of it.
Awesome.
It looked so good.
You guys didn't have crawfish and shrimp boils
like,
and all that
a lot of that stuff wasn't, and like I don't have a way of cooking it.
Oh, it was it was all raw, ready to go.
Yeah, it's like needs to be cooked.
Gotcha.
So they had, next to their bakery, they had like a sweets thing where they had a bunch of what looked like regular old-fashioned cookies and stuff like that, and I was in on that action. Dusty also got some what we thought were just cookies. They turned out to be what they call, I think, like sweet bread. Is that what it was?
Yeah, like pan dulce.
It's kind of a cookie, but it's more dry.
Yeah, it was kind of like a big sugar cookie, but not like super sweet. Huh. And yeah, the ones that I grabbed looked like giant like peanut butter cookies. Like they had like the little cracks in the edges of them and stuff. And I had my heart set on that
peanut
whenever I
butter
bit
cookies?
into it.
Yeah,
and it was not that at all.
Oh shoot,
no. I bought 2 of them that had like a bunch of sprinkles on them because I'm a child and I think that everything should have sprinkles on it.
Well, of course.
Because how do you make sugar better? You add more sugar.
Yeah, exactly.
And bacon.
Yeah, that's acceptable too.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the cookie thing was really dry because it wasn't really a cookie. It was a sweet bread or whatever they want to call that. Huh. It wasn't disappointing. It just wasn't what I wanted.
Yeah, I get that.
So we went to the porn mansion because we were told that there would be pizza there. And apparently that was a whole ordeal because they went to get the pizza that they had ordered that Google had told them was 10 minutes away. And they got to the location and it was a field. And they called the place back and they said, "Where are you?" And that was 40 minutes away on the other side of Austin.
No.
Yeah.
So did they go and get it?
No, so they ended up going somewhere and getting tacos.
Oh.
But it took them a long time to get back to the
mansion.
porn mansion. So.
Well, shoot.
They were extremely good tacos, though.
So I've been told.
You didn't eat them?
No, Robbie.
Not all tacos are spicy.
There were things on those tacos I didn't trust.
Like what?
Well, there were onions. I don't like onions to start with.
So the rule of random Mexican food that shows up whenever you're in Austin is you don't ask what it is, you just eat it.
Yeah.
I don't trust that.
I remember when I went to, I guess she's not my aunt, but we always call her my aunt. But anyways, went to her place, and she was married to a Hispanic guy at the time, and they were feeding me, and I knew it was like intestine and stuff, and they're like laughing. They're like, "Do you know what that is?" I was like, yeah, I know what it is. That's why I'm eating it. It's delicious. Like, so they're thinking they're like gonna prank me, like, "Oh, you're eating intestine." No, dude, I know what I'm eating. It's awesome. That's why I'm here right now.
Now, there was like chorizo was one of them, and then there was a steak and a pork one, but there was just stuff on them that it was fine.
So the chorizo ones were easy to pick out because they were actually glowing orange.
Those are so good. There's a place here right down from my work that makes chorizo burritos. Amazing.
Are they super greasy too?
No.
Because the chorizo tacos that they had were the greasiest things I've ever seen in my life.
No, it's not any more greasy than regular taco.
No, this was way greasier.
Oh, it's not like that.
It was pretty wild.
But it's so flavorful. It's like a punch in your mouth of flavor. It's so good.
I don't want to be punched in the mouth, Robbie.
Sometimes it's worth it.
I don't want to be punched in the mouth, Robbie.
You kink shaming me about being punched in the mouth?
No, I'm just saying I don't want to. You're kink shaming me about not wanting to be punched in the mouth.
You're so vanilla.
You're kink shaming, Robbie. That's a kink shame. Some people are into that.
All right.
Some people are just happy with the good old fashioned missionary, Robbie.
No, they're not.
That's where I'm at in my food life. Steak and potatoes.
Okay. I like my food kinky, I guess.
Just his well done steak and his ketchup on his potatoes.
No ketchup for me. Ketchup's
too spicy.
Ketchup's not where I'm at in life.
He didn't deny the well done steak, though.
No,
I didn't hear the well done part. I would slap a hoe for the steak. Well done. Get out of here with that.
Yeah.
So,
is there anything Sunday?
Sunday was Sunday.
You guys made it to the track around 9:30, 10 o'clock, and
no, we were there earlier than that. So they have a bunch of food trucks there, right? And so,
did you guys get a breakfast burrito?
We got breakfast tacos.
Okay, that's fair.
Which was just steak, or was just bacon and eggs and cheese in a soft shell taco. So that was safe, and I ate them.
No cheese?
They were.
You said cheese?
Yeah, cheese.
Okay.
Cheese, bacon, and eggs.
Oh, okay.
You could get bacon, sausage, or potato, and I was like, why can't you put the potato in all of them?
Yeah, that should be an option.
Actually, on Sunday they did. I don't know if they meant to or not, but they did.
Perfect.
And I wasn't mad about that. So they also served catfish at lunch, and it's so fucking good.
I've been catfishing forever.
Dude, I love catfish. Problem was it's $18, and I don't love it that much.
Whoa!
Yeah, they rape you.
That's expensive.
Yeah, so that track's kind of in the middle of nowhere. There's you can't just run out down the street and grab a burger at McDonald's.
You're paying the convenience fee.
Yeah.
I get it.
They know they got you by the balls.
Well, it's like the poke bowls or whatever we had, or the Chinese noodles or whatever it was at AMP. It didn't matter what it cost. I was paying for it and I was going to eat it.
Right.
Because it was the best food that was there. It was worth it.
Right.
I don't remember what it cost, but it was expensive.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Their food truck game's pretty well on point there.
I believe that.
Pizza, tacos, catfish, shrimp.
Nice.
Good stuff. Apparently we talk about food a lot now.
That's all that matters.
Their shrimp is so good down there.
Yep.
I wish we lived closer to the ocean.
That doesn't guarantee better for shrimp. It's just they just do it better down there.
No, it does guarantee better shrimp.
It does not.
Yes, it does. Robbie.
No, I got a buddy that won't eat sushi if it's in a landlocked state, as if the fish isn't flown in from across the world anyways on ice.
That's fine, but shrimp that shrimp is more fresh than the shrimp we get.
You don't know that.
I do, though.
You don't know that.
I do, though.
I'll eat it anyways.
There's that Splash downtown. They get their fish flown in daily.
Yep.
The place is dumb money, but
it's not dumb money. It's good.
It's a thing.
It's not that expensive.
It is pretty expensive.
Not
Robbie.
that expensive.
Yes, it is, Robbie.
It's not.
You have different opinions.
It's not that expensive when you've been hanging out with Booney.
It's fucking cheap.
There's a reason. There's a reason I go out to eat with Booney very often.
There's prototype food and then there's regular food.
Well, when Katie's from Mid City sponsors the car, food's free.
Oh, Jesus, Robbie.
It was amazing. It was amazing.
We had charcuterie boards as well from Buc-ee's.
Not quite as good as Purveyor from Des Moines, but I'll take it.
They were like jalapeno cheese and summer sausage.
So you didn't eat them?
Well, no, I didn't. I bought a brisket sandwich because if you give me the option between cold meat and cheese or a brisket sandwich, which one do you think I'm going to choose, Robbie?
Oh, you made the right choice.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Yeah, so we've been talking about food for a while.
Yeah. Racetrack things. I don't know. Sunday was interesting. We had, I don't know. It was a good weekend. Like, there were lots of really interesting machinery there, both GLTC and Time Attack. There are a lot of really cool cars in the Time Attack thing. But,
yep.
And, I think this year was, just as good as any year that we've had there, honestly. You've got pulled up here. There was an overabundance of Mercedes-Benz AMGs.
Okay.
The Roadster, or the two-seaters.
Yep.
There were two, I think, AMG GTSs. Not GTRs, GTSs, I think. The Fortners, who are Grid Life regulars, they bought one of those that they're running this. Yeah, they're running it this year in Street Mod.
Dang.
And they had it down there running in Street, which is GTA's Street Mod, basically. Right. And then there was another one there that I think is owned by a dealership group or something like that. And then there was this thing, which was a GT3 spec AMG, full-fledged
carbon everything
race car.
Yeah.
Carbon fiber everything. He would go out there and he would click off 215 after 215 after 215, and if there was a 20-minute long session, he ran 19 minutes and 59 seconds of it. And he clicked off like within probably, I'll bet almost all of his laps were within 2 seconds of each other.
No shit.
Like that car was fast, and it'll do it for 24 hours straight.
That's perfect.
And it makes all the right amount of noises.
Yep.
Straight cut sequential gearbox. It whines and howls and bangs and pops when he starts moving it. And it's V8 Glory. We were standing next to it one time when it was pulling up into its grid spot.
Yep.
And he kind of blipped the throttle when it was like me to you away from it. And so it's got side exit exhaust, and I was right in line with the side exit. And I mean, was
it like a, whew, yeah, I need a minute by myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I saw that on the live stream, and then I pulled up some, the pictures you guys were posting. Was like that one. I like.
We looked at it for a while
while
we were in the pits, because it's really interesting to see. Like you can tell that, because this is like a real full-fledged, professionally developed race car.
Factory race car.
And so it was interesting to look at this car and see okay, yeah, I know what they're doing with it. It's no different than what Will is doing or what Ferris is doing, but you can look at it and you can be like, there's a lot of little things, little details that I don't understand why they did it, but it clearly fucking works, and just everything just works better.
Right.
Well, you're looking at like the washouts behind the wheels, and like every time attack car has that area cut out, and it's just like bare exposed stuff hanging out, and this like that whole area is 3-dimensional and
smooth,
bends and moves.
Well, they've got there's
they're
the
putting
fender
the air
dump,
exactly where they want it to be.
right? There's the opening in the back of the fender behind the back tire.
Yep.
In the bumper and stuff, and instead of it just being an open gaping hole, there's veins in there, directing air where they want it to go. You know, and those veins extend. They wrap around the wheel and they extend forward towards the axle, so that car's the air is coming underneath the splitter and running all the way down underneath the car and then being directed out where they want it to be. It's not just washing around and they're trying to do stuff with it and hoping that it sticks. They know where it's going. They know what it's doing, and they're telling it, no, you're going to do this instead.
Huh.
And it just works.
Yeah. That car's perfect.
It's so cool.
Everything about it. Like I've said it a bunch of times. Like for some reason, the Mercedes GTR is top, like towards the top of the list for me.
That car has a presence too.
Oh yeah.
And so like on Sunday morning, we were standing on the bridge over the entry to the S's, and they would come down out of turn 1 and come ripping down towards the S's, and he'd be on the gas pedal as he'd cross underneath the bridge. And then by the time we could see him on the other side of the bridge, he's lost 50 miles an hour because the brakes are just like these insane carbon ceramic monstrosities. And the car just goes, I'm doing 140 miles an hour. I'm doing 10 miles an hour. And it just like, how we talked about Ferris has a time-space continuum from one end of a straightaway to the other. Well, this car does the same thing except braking. Wow. It's crazy the braking distance that car has.
Huh. Yeah, that'd be...
So it was really cool to watch. 215 is super fast, but it wasn't the fastest thing there.
No.
Shoot, some street class car, two street class cars went faster than that even.
Jeez.
Amir ran in his NSX ran a 213, which is dumb fast.
That is very fast.
And Jackie was in the 14s, I think.
And Andy Hollis won a 214 in his 720S,
which that was
street
limited.
tires, which
214 on street
insane.
tires is so fast. And
Andy's turned about 5,000 laps of that track.
Yeah,
right.
That's true. But yeah, it was but that car, none of those cars had the presence that car has.
Right.
It was just cooler. So, street class was dominated this year by Amir in his NSX. That car is one of the rowdiest sounding 4-cylinders I've ever heard at idle. He's got some serious cams in that thing.
Right.
It's got a lope to it. It's quite a deal. And
it has that proper race car. It doesn't want to do anything except run wide freaking open kind of attitude to it. Like him trying to move it around to get to grid and stuff. It's just so pissed off. It's so cool.
It's got a dog box in it, but it's still an H pattern.
Okay.
And it's really like I've seen some in car of him driving that car. That transmission is gnarly.
It looks like a NASCAR on a road course, except that it's a mid-engine 4-cylinder.
Yeah.
And he's just wah ba ba.
He went out early on Saturday and went like 2:15 or 2:14, whatever it was, like real fast, but not as fast as he ended up throughout the year or throughout the weekend. But he was kind of late for that session to start. And so Jackie had already gone out, done his lap, and come back in. And so Jackie was out of the car standing in pit lane when Amir comes rolling back in. And Jackie's like fucking pumped about the time that Amir just ran. And I think that's so cool to see because like those two guys, like they're the street class guys.
They're fierce competitors.
Like they're fierce competitors, but Jackie was as ecstatic that Amir went as fast as he did as Jackie would have been if it was Jackie that did it himself.
That's awesome.
So it was really cool to see that camaraderie between the competitors. Like, they're on the track, they're as fierce a competitor and enemy as you could possibly be. But the second one of them pulls off, they're there for each other. So it's super cool.
That is cool.
So, that was fun to see that battle. That car is silly fast. That car is now Grid Life Street Mod legal because they added dog boxes as a legal modification.
Yep.
So that means that there is the rumor that it may be at an event or two this year.
That would be great.
And I'm really excited to see that car at a Grid Life event. So that should be cool. Alex Moss, Grid Life regular, managed to bring Super K out to this event this year, along with like fucking 40 other cars from ASM because that's a whole ordeal. But Alex is a huge Formula One fan, so I think this was like a real nerd out moment for him to get to run there. The way the Super Lap and GTA rules are written, the DCT swap that's in that S2 is not legal in anything short of unlimited. Right. Where he does not hold a
candle to
like he's bringing a knife to a nuke fight. But I applaud the fact that he still showed up and went for it. He still ran in street mod trim. I kind of wondered if they just like throw Hoosiers on it for the fun of it.
They just turned all the way up.
Yeah, but they still ran in street mod trim with AO 52s on it, or maybe they were Falcons. I don't know, but they were still street tires. I'm pretty sure they're AO 52s.
Yeah, I think that's what they were running last year.
So it was kind of interesting, to see that car compare to like Jackie's car. Jackie went quite a bit faster, but he makes a ton more horsepower than Super K does. If I'm not mistaken, Super K is still a totally stock K series engine with a turbo on it, which means that in theory it should only be limited to somewhere between like 450 and 5.
See, I thought
I think Jackie's car like can make 7 or 8.
See, I thought they had that thing turned way up.
It still has a completely stock block.
Does it really?
K24.
I did not realize that. I thought they had something more exotic than that.
I think that the built motor exists.
Okay.
But because they were working so much on the DCT, they left the stock motor in there at a reasonable power level until they got the DCT sorted out because they didn't want to be sorting a trans and a 700 horsepower built motor at the same time.
Don't blame them. Because I remember that at one lap, I know they had it dialed back.
Yeah.
But I think that's why I thought it was.
Yeah, I think that car really only makes like 450 or 500 horsepower.
Okay.
So to turn the times that he does is still really, really, really.
Oh yeah,
like he was
driven very well.
I don't think he quite got into the teens, but he was in the 220 low 220 minute mark.
Yep.
And that's fucking flying for any car, let alone a street tired car with that relatively low horsepower.
Right.
I mean that's half the power that Andy's car makes.
Right.
Andy Hollis's 720. So, yeah.
It's also got a little bit of an aero disadvantage over a McLaren.
Yeah, probably. Again, cars that have spent significant time in real wind tunnels and have been built by people who are hardly mortals compared to a silly little green S2000 built in a shop in Wisconsin. So, pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's pretty much a rundown of all the cars I really had a lot of interest in. There were, it's, I could go on all day.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because there's so many cool cars there. There was a carbon fibered 240Z with a turboed LS and a BMW DCT in it. That was really cool to see. That's a car I've followed for a while because he does a lot of Pikes Peak stuff with it.
Yep.
And it's a really cool looking car. They have a new build that's an R32 GTR that was neat to see. Tons of Subarus of all varying sorts and sizes and shapes. A couple of Evos.
One of the cool Subarus was Thomas Smith. He ran Optima stuff for a while whenever we were running quite a bit. Just a super unassuming looking car that whenever you get to looking at it closer, there's a ton of detail stuff. Yeah, he ran a 219. Did pretty well in street class.
Yeah. Toyota seems to have knocked it out of the park with the Supra.
Yeah.
There were a bunch
There's
of them.
a lot of them.
A bunch of them. So that was kind of cool to see. We were pretty critical of that car early on.
Yeah.
I've really come around to really liking them. I think you've softened on it remarkably.
Softened on them, but I'm still not. I still think they're overpriced.
They seem to have hit a home run as far as like a good sports car that takes well to it took a little while for us to figure it out.
Yep.
But it seems to be a car that takes well to modification, is fun to drive and good looking, and like Jackie's car has been to AMS and makes whatever horsepower it makes. It's a crazy number.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I think it's just south of the 4-digit mark.
Does it really?
I think it makes 7 or 8.
It's 7 or 8 at the wheels
on a stock trans.
Wow.
ZF8 speed.
That's crazy.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like that shows the, and they've been getting real fast in the quarter mile with them. So,
I know Steph Papadakis on the build series he did on the FD car. They said that the bottom end,
interesting.
Yeah, the bottom end was easy 1,000 horsepower capable, and it was just a matter of making the induction and exhaust work to get there. But
that's crazy.
So, very cool car that I think we'll see really awesome things in the coming years from. So it's really already been a very popular platform. So
it's cool to see Dai Yoshihara's Tesla there too. The Pikes Peak car.
A couple of Model 3. A lot of cars that ran Pikes Peak that showed up here.
Yeah, that seems to be a common theme where they do Super Lab Battle and Pikes Peak.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, it's cool that kind of those are kind of turning into like a kind of a sister event with each other, as Super Lab seems to be getting more of a reputation, which I'm obviously all for because I'm 3.5 hours away from it.
Yeah. Yeah. So this Tesla Model 3 that Dai has, we were standing in pit lane when he was driving it up to I think he had come in off a hot lap and they were looking at something and then he went right back out again. But it's so weird to see it because I realize this is the whole point, but it's completely fucking silent.
Yeah.
And when it goes by you, it just...
Yeah, you just hear air and tires.
That's so weird.
Yeah. So, God, no, I can't think of his name with the plaid.
Oh yeah, I was just about to talk about. So Mike Dussault that has the crazy 69 Camaro or 68 Camaro that's run Pikes Peak the last couple of years was there with a basically stock full weight Tesla Model S plaid. They're developing a big brake kit for it. He ran it at Coda back late last year, and I think couldn't make it through a lap without just boiling the brakes. So they've got a big brake kit on it, but other than that, basically stock. And he ran a 225, which is insane. I think they said he was running 174 miles an hour on the back straight. And that was only because that's
car, Robbie.
That's insane.
That's like he could have drove that there.
Yeah.
I think he might have
probably
driven
did.
it there.
No, they trailered it down, but and I was talking to Cole Reynolds that works with him, and they've got a plan for cutting weight out of it. There's tons of weight just in the interior that they can get out of it pretty easily. He was saying that he would go out and make like one flyer and then a couple of other laps, and then they had to book it out to a supercharger, put the car on the charger for like 30 minutes, I think, to bump it back up to like 95%, ease it back to the track, and just like do this same cycle each time to keep it in the range of where it needed to be.
I think it's kind of hard. Like, you have to jump through a lot of hoops to make full power with the car.
Right.
I know, like, at a drag strips, it's kind of an ordeal.
Well, yeah, so if you get to your battery at a certain thing, it changes what you're allowed to do and whatnot.
Yeah, I think he said once it got to like 55%, that it like cuts the power and starts, that's the level where things start getting weird. So
makes sense.
And he was losing, I think he said like one full lap plus a couple of others just to kind of cool everything down was putting it at like 55% or 60%.
Dye's car was not that much faster than Dussault's.
No, they were
like a full-fledged race car at this point, versus a basically totally stock street car. It's kind of interesting comparison. It would be really cool, like if the Model S that damn it, now I'm drawing a blank on his name too, that runs up Pikes Peak, does all the driving.
Oh, Randy Popes.
Oh, he has a Model S. It'd be cool to see that car come to this event and kind of see what it can do.
Right.
Because that's more of a race car setup. Like, it's got the aero and it's lightened out, and they've got a bunch of those things sorted. It would be cool to see that, see what it could do too. So,
yeah, that sounds like where Mike's headed with that one.
That'll be rad.
Starting to cut weight. And
Mike has built a few crazy cars in his day, so that will be interesting.
There's no limit to where Mike will take a car, as evidenced by the Camaro. And
one of my favorite cars I've ever seen in like all of its iterations.
So whenever they first did the tube chassis for it, I watched him shake it down with no body on it at just a little like test and tune autocross. I think there's a few tubes that are still the same place that they were at that point, but yeah, that car has been built and rebuilt and rebuilt.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember, like, that's one of the cars that sticks out the most in my head from the first Good Guys event I ever went to.
Yeah,
so that was back when he ran that there all the time.
Yeah, the first time I ever met him, that car was just a Detroit Speed subframe and a mild LS3, and he was like, "Yeah, we're talking about putting turbos in it." And I'm like, yeah, sure, okay. And then get to talking to him a little bit more, and he's like, "Oh yeah, we got a shop. We just built this Nova," and then I figure out that it's the Nova that I saw on the cover of Hot Rod like 2 months before. I'm like, okay, this guy might have, he might actually do what he's talking about doing, and yeah, he's done that and way beyond.
Yeah, now the car will do probably. Is one of the few cars I think could keep up with Ferris at a track like Circuit of the Americas or Road America. Honestly, like it's one of the few cars in the country I think could actually give him a run for his money at a big track like that.
Right.
So yeah, Ferris has worked a lot with him and still works on his car out of Mike's shop too. So yeah, they've learned and pushed each other a lot in the last like 5-6 years. So pretty cool.
Yeah. So our trip back, I got to talk about it because I think it's funny and I want to blow Josh's spot up a little bit. So we were coming, we Sunday afternoon, we left, and just hit the road and started heading home. We got just south of Oklahoma City. Everything in Texas, you can really haul ass in Texas.
Yeah, for sure.
And so, like, there was a lot of time where we're like, cruise set at like 90, 95 miles an hour, just going with the flow,
cannonballing it.
But like we weren't, like that was just, yeah, we're still getting past. Like we're going with the flow of traffic.
Wow.
At like 90,
right?
85, 90, 95 miles an hour is just kind of
what they were doing.
Yeah, that's what you got to do to keep up. And so then we Monday morning we hop in the car and off we go, and we're cruising across Kansas. Oh, excuse me, on the turnpike there.
Yep.
And we had a couple of cars in front of us, and cruise set at 95, just cruising along. A couple of cars going with us, like no problem at all. And then there was like a Suburban in front of us that dropped back, kind of chickened out, and you were like, "Oh, sucker, bitch, we're bye." And then like a couple miles farther down the road, all of a sudden this SUV rolls up next to us, and we all look out the side of, or out the driver's side at the SUV and realize it's a state patrol, and he's very angrily pointing at the side of the road. And Josh like, yep. And then he just kind of pulled in front of us and threw his lights on and pulled the Jeep over that we had been following, that we had no relation to whatsoever.
So he got you both. You both pulled over.
He pulled two people over, gave us both tickets for 95 and a 75.
Ooh.
It's a pretty baller move on his part, I have to say.
Yeah, I was impressed. He pulled over two cars at one stop that were, I mean, it's one thing to pull over two cars that are affiliated with each other. Not that he knew that in advance, but like, we didn't know who that girl was.
Yep.
She didn't know, like, she was from Minnesota. We don't know who, like, that's just total stranger. She just happened to be going a reasonable pace.
Yep.
And we decided to go with her reasonable pace. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed he didn't do the Dumb and Dumber. Pull over. No, it's a cardigan, but thanks for noticing.
Yeah. So, whoops.
Yeah, see, that's not a cheap ticket either.
It was not as bad as you think it would be.
That's good.
So, I was telling my dad about it. He's like, so did you guys like split it? I was like, fuck no.
He was driving.
I didn't tell him to go that fast. I was like, that's why they won't let me drive, is because I'll set the cruise at 75 and just go. Yeah. Like, I'm not
getting a ticket.
No. So they won't let me drive because I don't drive fast enough. Fine, whatever. I'll sit in the back seat. You guys can drive, but I'm not paying for the ticket when you get it.
Nope.
Them's the rules.
That's fair.
So that's what we did.
No, driver pays the ticket.
Sucks to suck.
Yep.
I didn't force him to drive that fast.
Nope.
Didn't have a gun to his head or anything like that.
Allegedly.
So,
it's not like y'all were transiting on one lap or something.
Yeah, we accepted. That was part of the budget. We saved money for that, and we never had to use it. It was fine.
Josh was pretty chill with it. He's like, I haven't had a ticket in a while. I probably deserve one. Like, fucking right you do. Jesus Christ. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Josh shows you how to be fast on the street. Apex Pro shows you how to be fast on the track. So if you want to get...
That was a smooth transition.
Professional podcaster. Yeah, if you want to be faster on the track, use the Apex Pro data center unit thing. Data center unit? I don't know what you call it.
Data center?
Not data center.
I spent a lot of time with those here lately.
But we got the Gen 2. Use the code 10tenths to get 10% off with this and a window suction mount. It's about as good as you're going to get when it comes to dollar per data in the Gen 2, and you get the app, and then you get all sorts of like live telemetry and all that stuff, so you can have your buddies follow along. But that app is actually free. It's our official motorsports app. So if you want to just kind of get a feel for data, you can download the app, the Apex Pro app, and it'll use your phone. You basically treat it like a lap timer. You can do pretty basic stuff, because obviously it's not getting the resolution that the units have, but you can get lap times, and you can get kind of that intro to data, and kind of take a look at basically where you're losing speed. And then also, just Andrew's a really great guy, and if you need to kind of get an intro to the data, you can go to their YouTube channel. There's a bunch of videos posted where he kind of walks through it with the different people, as well as kind of just in general talking about data. I recently just watched the data review session he did with Matt Williams, and I was actually comparing that to my
clown.
Yeah, comparing it to my data, and just kind of like picking up a few things here and there, like where they were seeing things, and super useful. So also Andrew does coaching, so I'm going to do that too.
As you should.
As I will. So apextrackcoach.com.
So my buddy Daniel, that came to Superlap, he listens, and we talked about using the app like that without having the unit yet, and had like really good luck with it. I was super impressed compared to what I've seen on the old Harry's lap timer days. Like for cell phone data, it was still the way the app smooths out the data and everything. Like it's pretty impressive even just with the phone. So
yeah. For a free app, it's good.
So real quick question about him. Does his sister live in Austin?
Yeah. So he stays with her whenever
she looked
there, so.
She looked less than thrilled to be at Rally Ready.
So I asked him what she thought of it, and he said, so I wondered going in that it was just going to be a bunch of nerdy car guys standing around talking about nerdy car guy things. So she'd been forewarned. So yeah, I
don't think that was her scene.
It was what she had been promised.
It still wasn't her scene, though. I don't think she enjoyed herself.
No, yeah, I don't think
Bless
she
her
was
heart for
looking
going
around,
along and like not being a total buzzkill, but I don't think she enjoyed herself as much as she may have hoped.
Yeah. They went and found some oysters afterwards. I think.
I should have gone with them. That'd have been way better.
That'd have been awesome.
Sounds expensive.
I've had oysters in like 2 weeks.
Fuck you, Rob. I've had oysters in like 2 decades.
We had 2 different types of oysters. It was great.
I don't like you, Robbie.
I said whenever he went on that trip that there would be no living with him after this.
Yeah.
And I was right.
Yeah. It's only going to get worse from here.
Yeah, we'll definitely not get better. I can promise.
At least there's a little bit of a gap now that we get a little bit of a break.
Yeah, but I'm going to have to go on the next one. We'll see what it changes in me. Because the next one I'm probably going to.
But Elkhart Lake is really limited on where we can go.
There's still some stuff there.
There's some stuff.
Siepkins?
Right?
Yeah,
Siepkins. Yeah, we've been to Siepkins.
I don't need to go back to Siepkins, but it was fun to go. It was
good. I don't need to go there when it's crowded.
No.
I mean, it's cool, but yeah, I don't like crowded.
Yeah.
Both times I've been up there, I was told that was what I needed to do, and we went in the opposite direction because we stayed in Plymouth. And
yeah, we also went to Plymouth because we had to go to Walmart, so we did both.
Yeah. Let's shut it down.
Yeah, I had a hot take, but it's been a long show.
Yeah, I'm tired. It's late.
I get it.
I had to work.
I did too, but not till as late as you did.
Sorry.
Well, Dusty, thanks for coming on.
Robbie got his 6 hours in today, so
everybody go to yeah, exactly.
I did.
Everybody go to our Facebook page. Check out Dusty's pictures.
Yes, please. I shared them in Track Midwest and some GLTC page, and
I need to share the time attack pictures in the SLB group.
Yes, you do.
Because I'm sure you're not in it, Mr. High Horse.
Never was.
Fucking Robbie.
I'll be throwing some more up on my personal stuff too on Instagram at SilverC10. So
there you go.
Perfect. You should come up and shoot WRL in Elkhart Lake with us.
Dude, you don't have to tempt me with a good time to go to Road America.
You should. It'd be great.
Yeah. Gotta get my travel schedule figured out because I got the bug to do some more shooting now after that. So
perfect.
Lime Rock.
No.
Yeah, Lime Rock is high on the list.
We know a guy.
You should come to Daytona.
We can get you a media pass. We know a guy.
Sweet.
That'd be great.
That would be great. We should probably do a show sometime and talk about our schedules.
I still don't know what mine is yet.
Hey, Jabay, if you're listening, you should probably figure that out.
Yeah, let's shut it down.
We'll catch everybody next week.